Firm who can fight them toe-to-toe. For right at 30 years, we have fought them in courtrooms throughout America. Our results speak for themselves. And always remember this, everybody is a somebody, and nobody is a nobody. Visit forthepeople.com to learn about our firm, Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe. You can watch us on CBS 47 and Fox 30. You can listen right here on ESPN 690. And you can subscribe to our YouTube and podcast, Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe. Hey, it's Brent Martineau. Check out Action Sports Jacks weekdays from 3 until 6 on ESPN 690.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Quarterback Aaron Rodgers slated to arrive in New Jersey tonight now that his trade to the Jets from the Packers has been finalized, according to ESPN's Diana Rossini. He is expected to renegotiate his contract before the trade becomes official. Meanwhile, Green Bay did well in its return in that trade as it moves on to Jordan Love as its starter, believes our Keyshawn Johnson.
This is good. The Packers can now turn their focus to trying to build around Jordan Love for the future, picking up somebody in this year's draft, and if he's good enough, they pick up his fifth-year option. If he's good enough, next year they got enough picks to go back in there and build around him some more.
Key of Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. The NHL has suspended Avalanche star defenseman Cale Makar for his hit on Seattle leading scorer Jared McCann in Game 4 of the first round of that Stanley Cup playoff series. Makar getting a game. McCann is out at least for tomorrow's Game 5. NL Central leading Pirates and outfielder Brian Reynolds agreed to an 8-year, $106 million extension. It is the largest deal in franchise history, and the extension comes months after Reynolds requested a trade this offseason.
If you're experiencing a spring hiring rush, then you need Indeed. Their powerful all-in-one hiring platform makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates all in one place. Want to find your next great hire? Visit Indeed.com/credit.
ESPN 690 and Action Sports Jacks presents Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau.
We're going to have to show a little more patience than the year 2 pom-pom people.
Kasey Kurtz.
Yo! Well, what are we doing, bro? Come on!
And Aaron Schachter.
I'm all in favor of these two showing their love, really celebrating their relationship. Get him! Get him! Get him! Hit him! Hit him! Yeah! Boom! Jack! Boom! Yeah! Boom! Jack! Boom!
This is Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau, Kasey Kurtz, and Aaron Schachter on Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio, ESPN 690.
What kind of energy do you guys have in the building on a Tuesday of draft week? Now just some 48 hours and counting away from 2023 draft. And what kind of world are we living in? What kind of world are we living in? When someone puts something out on Reddit at 8 o'clock this morning, and that forces Will Levis's odds in some places, I think DraftKings, to go 40-1 to 4-1 to be the number 1 overall pick. Like a post on Reddit carries that much weight? What are we doing, betting people? You guys are degenerates.
I'm surprised you're surprised.
Why? That's all that happened.
Yeah, this is how our guy Duck got made. He put up a post on Discord about kicker props, and a good group of 40, 50 dudes hit up the sports book, and then it made the front page of ESPN.
And you found him. But, hey, here's the deal. There's a difference there. Like, he had proof in his theory of the kicker stuff, and there weren't a lot of other people doing it.
Yeah, he's got a model. He's got an algorithm he's worked
that had worked. Like, he actually saw success from it, right?
Yeah.
This is totally different. I mean, this is just somebody throwing
rumor
up
and
there.
Conjecture.
I mean, so if we really strongly say something today that, hey, Anthony Richardson's training in Jacksonville, and he will be the number 2 pick to the Houston Texans. Like we have heard from all the people that we know that trained with Anthony Richardson. Are you telling me his odds are going to go from Houston not picking a quarterback at all to now being the favorite? Is that how easy this is?
Depends where you put it, Brent.
We should try, though.
Depends where you put it. If you were to say it on a radio show that maybe only 4 or 5 people are listening to, maybe not. But you got to go to that sportsbook subreddit.
Again?
Wait, time out. How do you know I'm talking about this show, Case?
I'm just saying. It felt very similar to the last time.
There are lots of sports radio shows in this town.
This guy, he's texting us during or before the show. He's being recruited to other places. Now he's saying he's taking another shot at the show. What's wrong with this guy?
He's been a spy the whole time.
You're even wearing the shirt, Aaron.
Oh, I am wearing the
shirt.
shirt.
What are you doing?
You got the company logo on today or our shirt?
He's got your logo on, Brent.
How dare you? Take it off now.
Take it off. Shirtless show.
I would take it off, but I'm only wearing fishnets underneath, so I'm going to keep this on.
Which would be an awesome alternative.
All right, then fine. I'll take it off. Hold on. No, but I mean, it was put in the sportsbook subreddit. So you want to talk about degenerate gamblers? The degenerate gamblers look at the sportsbook subreddit and go, "Those guys are degenerates." So once it goes there, everyone's going to jump on it, no matter what the info is, just in case. And by the way, how fortuitous for C.J. Stroud bettors to pick up some action last night or this morning.
Yeah, that's true. Kasey, you know how this world works. So you're part of the degenerate world.
Big time.
And probably on Reddit as well. Like, I'm not a Reddit guy, so like I don't really understand the whole thing or at least like partake in the whole thing, right? Probably should, but I don't. And sure. I mean, how surprised are you that all this happened in a matter of hours based off somebody saying Will Levis is telling people he's going number 1. Hey, guess what? I'm going number 1 at Carolina. Put me on the board.
What position you play, Doug?
Kicker.
Yeah, that'd be a wild pick. Listen, for a lot of reasons, I guess. Here's the deal. Like, I want to like be surprised, but like at the same time I'm not, but then I kind of am because like if you can like be any person on Reddit as far as I understand. Like, you know, everybody's on there. Nobody uses their name. So, like, you can just kind of throw whatever you want in there, and it's fine. Like, this isn't even, like, a Twitter thing, or this isn't even, like, hey.
That's like a blind item.
Here's me and Will Levis. We're cousins. Like, there's nothing there. Nothing. So, like, that's what I'm like, what are we doing here? And if people want to throw $10 on it to make whatever that would have been yesterday, would have been a lot of money now, I guess. Good for them. But, like, it's so odd with no proof. Like, this is, at least Duck had like a model to the point earlier. Like, there's no proof here. This is just throwing it against the wall. We'll see if it sticks. Me personally, I'm hammering Bryce Young already. And again, if his odds go down again.
Well, yeah. And did his odds go down much?
They shifted slightly. I think he went from like 1350 to 700 and then back up to 1350.
Okay. I mean, he's still the heavy favorite, but that's not the part of the story that's fascinating. The story is Levis moving.
Look, I know you don't read Reddit, but last year, 2 years ago, around the pandemic, this is when the stonks thing happened. It was along the same lines, although when you talk about GameStop and AMC and the stonks and the diamond hands, what'd you say, Kate?
I said, yeah, baby. My mic wasn't on.
There you go.
Sorry.
But when you talk about that, there was actual data there to back up the reasoning why this kitty guy on the bets, whatever the subreddit is called, put that information out there. But to the point that you guys are making, the Levis stuff has nothing behind it.
Yeah, like that was a movement, Aaron, right? Like, I mean, basically that whole GameStop stuff, right?
Yes,
I mean,
but again, it originated in a very much a gambling stock forum on Reddit.
Okay. I just, again, nobody is, this isn't like, hey, somebody tweeted this and then Todd McShay and Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport and many more people on the internet like that exist that talk about the draft started saying, you know what, there's something to it. They started talking about it a little bit more. Like, nothing like that happened. Like, the only thing that moved this is a Reddit post.
Totally.
Like, it could have been Ty. Ty could have just posted it this morning.
Did he?
I don't know. I'll have to ask him.
What a great prank that would be, huh?
But, like, I really, like, that is fascinating to me that they can move like that. Like, that's dangerous. Isn't it dangerous? Like, I used to cover horse racing, guys, when I was up in New York, and I loved it. It was awesome. And one of the cool things about it was like you could hear stuff rumbling in the barns and in the paddock and things, and you'd
Are you talking animals or rumors?
No, rumors.
Okay.
And then you'd see the odds change, like right there in front of you on the board.
Because if I heard a horse rumbling, I'd be like, I'm not betting on that horse at all.
But you'd hear stuff, right? But that was like real life. They were about to race like in 10 minutes, and you'd see the line move. Like, it was like 25 minutes in between races. This is asinine.
You think it's really dangerous, though? You called it dangerous.
Well, yeah, I think it feels dangerous to me that a line could move that much off one post. That really is an unverified thing. I get why Schefter controls some of it. Listen, this is a guy right here. You're talking to me, Brent, that I think I can't believe that Bryce Young, number 1 to Carolina, basically became a slam dunk in Vegas and everywhere else once he stopped his visits. All right? Like, that was weird to me. Now, the other thing about that was that I thought he was going number 1 to Carolina anyway, and I think a lot of people thought, and you could certainly make the conclusion. The thing about this one is, heck, people don't even have Will Levis most of the time in the top 5, and some dude or gal posts Carolina on my mind, and Vegas goes nuts. Like, that is weird.
Yeah, everyone's just looking for that insider tip, the insider info.
Brent, I feel like this has you a bit worked up.
A little bit.
Yeah, I
Your voice is moving up and down.
Maybe he
Inflection.
Maybe he bet on Richardson by accident.
I did not.
Oh, could be. Not. Let's check the flip.
But I just listen, guys. It doesn't have to do with me. I just think it's bizarre.
I don't think it's dangerous. I kind of love that we've moved into this part of the internet. And I think it's only going to get a little bit crazier and worse as more like deep fake audio, deep fake video comes through. And then suddenly we'll get a video like we saw of DK Metcalf. But next year it'll be Caleb Williams jumping 10 feet vertical, throwing a ball 320 yards.
That one will be real, though.
And then it's suddenly like, oh, this guy's superhuman. And you find out it's just some iPhone app or something like that. It's just more evidence that you need evidence before doing something with your money. Like you say dangerous, I assume you mean because some random unverified person can move a financial line where people can lose or win actual real money. And I'm sitting here going, if you're making the bet based on that Reddit post, then you kind of deserve to lose it.
You might deserve to lose your money.
Well, I get it. Yeah, like listen, I mean, dangerous might be a little over the top, but I just think I wonder what else can happen like this if again this totally isn't true. Now, maybe it's true. And here we go. Kasey, what else was really interesting? I'm reading this ESPN article about the whole deal, and like they're giving circumstances where the money wasn't massive here. Like there's a part of this article that says Caesars reported taking a couple of bets of $500 in Illinois at 16-1 and an $825 bet on Levis at 12-1 from a bettor in Colorado. Like, I thought it took a crap load of money to move a line 40-1 to 4-1.
I mean,
I know those are just two examples. I'm just saying, like, somebody had to dump quite a bit of money in to move a line like that, right?
In theory, yeah, but I think when you take in that every single draft expert is like, hey, this is so unpredictable, like more than it's ever been, we don't really know what's happening here, then if you get a bet that comes in even just the start of it at 825 on something kind of random, you're like, hold on, we got to cover ourselves here. Because if you said it was $825 at 16-1?
That one was at 12-1.
Good luck to that guy, to be real with you. Holy cow, like that. Yeah, I mean, I think just the unpredictability of it would change it that quick because I think the smart move for the books would be to cover their butt on any of the quarterbacks because you really don't know how it's going to go, but they're probably going to go. So, like,
but if there's no action on a bet, doesn't it not take a lot to move the line?
Yes.
Like the more action, the slower the line moves.
Yeah. You're correct.
All right. Here's the other part of it. First of all, do you guys think there's any chance that Will Levis goes number 1?
No.
Like, you have to put a chance on it, right? Like, okay, there's a 1% chance. Like, 1% might be high.
I mean,
right?
He's in the draft, and the Panthers pick first. Yes.
Yeah, like that's how
0%.
Like, they could accidentally say his name in a Freudian slip to the card writer or something. But.
Let's get down to the cold hard truth is, Kasey, did you put money on Levis this morning?
No, I really didn't. I swear.
No, if I'm Kasey, I'm throwing all $53 in my savings account at C.J. Stroud.
74.
Yeah, to win 13 cents.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever it takes. As long as it's a win, I feel good.
So here's the other part of this. Let's just, for the fun of it, say that Will Levis goes number 1. And this was right.
We clap.
We not only clap, but you know what else? We fire everybody else that's been talking about the draft for 3 months.
And while you're at it, just keep that firing going and walk your butt over to Carolina because they just gave up the next 7 years of draft picks and a good receiver for Will Levis.
Yeah, well, that's true. That might be the case as well. But I'm just saying, like, what's the point of all these people trying to figure stuff out? Like, why go to the combine and get inside information if nobody knows Will Levis is even going in the top 5? Maybe not even a prayer to be in the top 5, but definitely not the top 2. And then he ends up going number 1. Could you imagine, like, first of all, how weird this whole cycle has been, which it seems like it is, that nobody knows anything and everything was just a throw against the wall? Then what's really the point of everybody reporting on this day in, day out, and seemingly having a little bit of a knowledge of it, or nugget here, nugget there, at least some groupthink of where guys are supposed to go? They have no clue.
This is the other side of it for me, though. In the vacuum that is the football offseason, and you guys acknowledged yesterday once Aaron Rodgers got traded, like half the content table went away for everybody who does this stuff for a living.
Thank you, Aaron.
So once
but he got us to the draft.
We'll never forget, Aaron. We'll never forget you.
Once you get this info off of Reddit, like if you're one of those guys, you're like, oh, this is something new to talk about. This is a new angle. But the more you tweet it, the more you put it on your website, the more you put it out there on your platforms and do Instagram reels about it, the more people hear about it, and they're like, well, maybe there's some truth there. I might as well take some action just in case. Here's my $5, $10, $20, $100 bet.
Donation.
Just in case. Donation just in case.
Listen, I understand.
There's something to that, I think.
Yeah, and it moves the line even further. It happens in crypto all the time.
I was going to say, yeah, it does have a little bit of a crypto feel in that sense to it. But I think all the talk, and I've said this a couple weeks back, guys, I think the draft is too deep into the calendar. I don't think it needs to be in late April. And I think some of this kind of stuff is a good example of why. And I'm not even saying it's the worst thing in the world. Heck, it's got to start for 15 minutes, and I'm fired up on a Tuesday. And the Jags aren't picking until like 11 o'clock Thursday night, and I have no idea who they're going to pick. So
we'll keep that energy going, Brent.
So like
lots of coffee, baby. Get the whipped cream out.
Yeah, I'm not telling you it's bad. I think the build-up, it's part of the fun, all that stuff, and we have so many people talking about the NFL. My observation would just be like, if that were to happen, like seriously, if Levis, there's nobody that said Levis would be number 1. So if this were to come out 48 hours in advance and be correct, which I don't think it is, but if it would be, I mean, wow, that really like hammers everybody that thinks they know a thing or two about the draft.
Yeah.
You know, we're not, by the way, here in Jack, we're not pretending to know who's going. We talk about this from a total speculation standpoint, but I will say there's a lot of like experts in the business that cover the NFL from a national perspective that kind of feel like they've got a pulse on this, right? That they're inside information, they're this, they're that, and boy, that would go up in smoke if that's the case. Either that or the NFL execs are better than ever at blowing smoke and also keeping secrets.
I actually think we've, like, not to use the same phrase again 5 minutes after I use it, but I think we've entered this age of smokescreen in a way that we've never experienced before. There's so much more to a fake report these days than there ever was. And I'm talking about in a malicious, get ready, Case, or nefarious way.
I know nefarious,
okay,
dog.
cool,
Come
cool.
on.
All right.
Come
all
on.
right.
Do you know malicious?
Nice.
Yes, I know malicious,
All
dog.
right,
Come
we're off to a
on,
good
somebody.
start. But
yeah,
you know,
baby.
back in the
Keep
day,
that pen in your pocket.
back in the day, you might have had a smoke screen of someone going, "Oh, I think I like this guy also," as opposed to now, which is C.J. Stroud has 3 brain stems left. Like, what is happening here?
Yeah.
And I think it's just a different age of sabotage from a lot of these camps, whether it's the players' camp themselves or maybe vendors they hire to help them with their quote-unquote PR. But taking a look at the iCryo chat chamber, Brent, because the experts are not only at all the major networks. We have experts in the chat as well. You got Glenn saying for the 100th time, Will Levis couldn't beat out Sean Clifford at Penn State. Then you got Matt Cooper responding in the iCryo chat chamber. Joe Burrow couldn't beat out J.T. Barrett or Dwayne Haskins. That's why he went to LSU. Players transfer all the time. Nathan Dean coming in with a couple of swings here. It has to be Bryce Young at number 1. I still believe Houston is taking a quarterback at number 2, and it feels like a Texans smokescreen right now.
By the way, talk about the ringer that the Texans are going through. They thought they had the pick. Then they won a game. Then they thought they were getting Bryce Young. Then Carolina traded up, and they thought they weren't getting Bryce Young. Then they were taking a defender, and now they might get Bryce Young after all. Talk about a run for those guys. They're going to be emotionally drained, and they haven't even done anything. They're just sitting there.
Is this the most smokescreen draft that we can remember? Then, to your
I
point,
believe that,
Aaron?
yes.
It's got to be.
I think so.
And, well, listen, here's the deal. Here's what we don't know. We don't know how much of this is smokescreen until the draft happens Thursday night.
That's fair.
So we'll find out, but we may look back on it and say, you're right, Aaron, this is like this new age of smokescreen where we're dumping it on you. Because, honestly, I felt like Kasey wrote about this today. The Jags have picked top 10 14 out of the last 15 years, not counting this year, of course. And we have been around those top 10 picks, right? I mean, we've been at drafts. We've been in that cycle where it matters who you're going to pick at number 1 or number 2 and 3 and 7 and the different spots the Jags have been in. And I rarely remember crazy smokescreen coming out to be like, I think this is going to unsettle what the Jags might be looking at. Now, if I look back on it, I would say that Myles Jack, we didn't know where he fit. We thought in 2016 he could be I thought he was maybe the best player in the draft. And he ends up being picked in the second round, and we didn't know where, like, that knee injury was going to fit. Like, we knew what was on the table, but we just didn't know how much the knee injury, how much the medicals, who felt what about what. Then I'll give you Jawan Taylor. Jawan Taylor, the Jags end up getting in the second round. Many considered to be a top 10 pick that year.
That was actually on your graphic you sent us earlier.
You had people picking him in your graphic that year.
Yeah.
At 7.
So, I mean, that will show you, was that a smokescreen? Now, the other part of that was there was injury concern, right? There was like a knee concern, I believe, for Jawan that year. And so that's different maybe than a smokescreen. But when I think of, okay, what did we know going into some of those drafts? What did we not know? It wasn't a whole lot of it. I do go back and reference the Johnny Manziel draft. There was a lot going on with him, where he could go all the way from 1 to 5 to 10, and he ended up being 22 that year. So that was one that had a lot to it. But, I mean, we've been around the front end of the draft a lot is my point. And I don't remember all the smokescreen like this year. That it feels like smokescreen. We'll find out. From Anthony Richardson to Will Levis to the C.J. Stroud stuff with all the quarterbacks. And I guess that's part of it, right? What you have is you have an undecided point of view on the quarterbacks. And when you have that, you don't know what's going on. There's a report today, guys, not on the quarterback stuff, that Jalen Carter of Seattle has no interest in him.
Saw that.
Right?
Yeah.
Really? Like, how can you have no interest? Like, how can you not be even thinking about taking him? Who would know that?
Maybe it's like a character thing.
Yeah. Well, but who would know that 2 days before? Like, nobody really knows that. So I don't buy a lot of the stuff that's coming out right now. But I guess we'll see how it shakes out, and then we can add it up, right? What did we see? And we have more conversation about the draft than ever before. That builds every single year, and that's part of it as well. And we all like to guess and figure out where it's going to go, and we'll do that in the next couple of days. Who are the Jags going to pick, right? We want to be right. It's fun to be right. It's like, I told you so. There's a little bit of that going on. But there's one thing I always come back to, and this is why I think this is a lot of smokescreen, is nobody's telling these guys what they're doing 2 days before the draft. Like, this whole process is shook out for like 4 months. You think they're all of a sudden going to tell Adam Schefter or Peter King or Ian Rappaport or some dude on Reddit what the hell they're actually doing?
So this is where you and I divert a little bit, because I agree with your point. It's not like Trent Baalke is suddenly calling Adam Schefter on Wednesday night going, fine, I'll tell you. But by Wednesday night,
he's going to call Brent Martin.
He better.
He might.
You need something, Brent.
By Wednesday night, you may have to involve other people who aren't in the tightest circle, who don't have the highest classified clearance, this information, so you can prepare for what you need to get done. And I think that's when that stuff leaks.
It could be. Or they tell those people something so they hope it leaks.
Ooh.
Again, and go back, again, Manziel again. The
smoky.
Manziel to Jags rumors, the story is it came out because, like, somewhere in the building in a meeting like this time of year, they told, like, the receiver room or something and said something, like, out loud. And one of those guys ran to the agent, and the agent ran to everybody. It's like, Jags are picking Manziel? Like, that's the story of how it happened.
That's
that
great.
Would have been awesome.
Or that's, like, the mythological story of how
Laying
it
a
happened,
trap.
right?
I love it. Yeah.
Love
So-
Johnny Manziel. Love him.
But to your point, that's what does happen. The guys were in the building. How many Jags players right now in the building are sitting there when they're talking to Doug? Doug, who we taking?
Probably
right?
most, you would think. I'd want to know.
Yeah, would you want to kind of get a little?
I'm sure people are asking in passing. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe that's how.
You know, the Panthers, all 3 of their receivers are asking. They're like, "Hey, bro, what's going on here?" Those are the guys that moved the line. They're the ones on Reddit. It was Terrace Marshall Jr. or whatever that guy's name is. It's the only receiver I can think of.
They have Thielen.
Thielen. Yeah. Thielen wouldn't do this.
Kasey, no cap. This is trash, my guy.
Yeah.
That in response to Kasey's article he wrote today on ESPN690.com.
Kemp wasn't too
What
happy.
could be so crappy about it? Cap.
This guy loves crapping on our stuff, huh?
I like Kemp. He's all right.
Talk about it. Yeah,
he's wrong. He's wrong. This is gas. I was cooking. But, we'll see. Anyway.
We'll talk about it next when we come back on ESPN 690. Speaking of, more crap from Kasey, Overtime with Kurtz and Middleton every night, 6 o'clock, following this show.
Now, the First Alert Forecast on ESPN 690.
Mostly cloudy today with a few showers at times. Highs between 75 and 80 degrees. Dropping to near 60 tonight. Mostly cloudy with a widely scattered shower tomorrow. Your Wednesday high in the lower 80s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish. Join me today beginning at 5 p.m. on CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jack.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds.
Don't miss Beard's Diamonds' incredible buy one, get one wedding band sale going on now.
Jacksonville is a great place to live. And if you love where you live, you should invest in it. That's why more and more people bank with One-to-One Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. We invest every penny back into North Florida, backing the very best small businesses, nonprofits, and of course the family home. Why put your money with some big out-of-state bank when you can invest in where you love to live? One-to-One Financial, we're your hometown credit union. Sign up today at one-to-one-fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
As the seasons change, one thing remains the same. Jacksonville and all of Northeast Florida are fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks. If you spot ESPN 690 anywhere in the community, come hang with us and grab an ice-cold Celsius.
Discover how good your water can be with the new Connecticut softener and drinking water system. Connecticut's twin tank non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available, and their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. This month, you can get 50% off a Connecticut K5 drinking water system with a purchase of a Connecticut Premier Series softener. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and provide solutions that are right for you and your family. Imagine having clean, clear, purified water at your home. No more plastic bottles, no more waste, just great tasting, purified water that you can trust. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. Financing options available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1428211.
Firefighters, paramedics, police officers, they take care of us, and at AMCO, we're proud to take care of them. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. As an essential business, we work on every kind of car repair with flexible financing and extra safety precautions. Essential, reliable, trusted. That's the men and women who are there for us, and it's our honor to be there for them. AA MCO.
Money tight? We can finance almost anybody. Find the AMCO transmissions nearest you at amcojacksonville.com.
Dig Local believes community gardens, farmers markets, and nutrition education are sustainable routes to a future where everyone can eat better. Shop the Beaches Green Market this and every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Penman Park on Penman Road, just north of Beach Boulevard, for fresh local fruits and vegetables, plants, meats, eggs, baked goods, honey, wellness products, ready-to-eat snacks and drinks, and local artist craft goods. If you have an EBT card, stock up on free fruits and vegetables and edible plants. Go to diglocal.org to learn more.
If you're experiencing domestic violence, Hubbard House is here for you. Access life-saving, life-changing resources by calling 904-354-3114.
A lot of different roles at youth sporting events. I get to be dad at my kids' baseball and softball games. You might be an umpire, might be a grandma or grandpa, or you might be a coach. And either way, all that moving around, standing up, sitting on bleachers,
whatever it might be, can be a painful experience. You feel it in the hips and knees and shoulders and back. So if you're busy at the ball field and feeling some pain, give QC Kinetics a call and get a free consultation. Learn how advanced regenerative medicine can get you real relief with no downtime, no surgery, and no drugs. There are 2 local clinics in Mandarin and Ponte Vedra, and now they've taken it to a new level. The new medical director, Dr. Peter Atch, he's a renowned triple board certified medical doctor with decades of experience, and the science behind this is simple. They take healing properties from your own body, concentrate them, and put them right in your affected joint to repair and restore that damaged tissue. 904-274-5522. Get a free consultation. 904-274-5522. 904-274-5522.
I'm Howard Mackler, founder of Innovation Refunds. You've heard me talking about the payroll tax refund for months. If you own a business, even if you've asked your CPA about this, you owe it to yourself to take another look. We provide a licensed and insured tax attorney who evaluates your company at my expense to determine eligibility. Businesses of all types can qualify, so go to getrefunds.com to potentially get a payroll tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee. Download the Innovation Refunds app or go to getrefunds.com, getrefunds.com.
How long does it take to tackle a home project? With Angie, you could cross it off your list before this ad is over. Just tell us what you need, indoor or outdoor, repair or redesign, and we handle the rest, sending a top pro to get it done. You don't have to lift a finger, except to tap the screen or click the mouse. Plus, Angie is free to use. So bring us your next home project, and we'll bring it home. Download the app or go to Angie.com. That's ANGI.com to get started.
Hey everybody, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. There's a good chance you have a smart speaker, so use it with ESPN 690. Stay up to date on the Jags and all things sports by telling Alexa or Google to play ESPN 690. It's as easy as that. Make sure you listen weekdays 3 until 6 p.m. on ESPN 690.
Hey, welcome back, Brent Friends on ESPN 690, and included in our friends, Jason Fitz from ESPN. He's on before us, Fitz and Harry.
Friend of the show.
Him on. Yeah, friend of the show, a longtime friend of the show here on ESPN 690. That's the voice of Aaron Schachterbaum.
What's up?
Schachter Files.
That's me.
Schachter feel good after that Aaron Rodgers trade.
Not so much.
And then the high energy of our illustrious producer and writer here at ESPN.
Did we get a new producer?
That is Kasey Kurtz, everybody.
What's up?
That's the high energy, huh?
Yeah.
They're in deep trouble.
Good introductions for you guys. Actually.
Yeah, not bad.
You know? I mean, we should have put some Chicago Bulls music behind that.
That ain't happening. Especially if I'm in control.
All right.
What we got.
So we love our man Fitz, and they asked us me, to make a pick today for their mock draft.
So just to confirm, not us.
Not you. I was going to include you guys, but then I was like, nah, that will be – I don't want group thought on this. I'll just be the star of the show across the nation.
That sounds about right.
And
why are we not surprised?
So how this works is obviously the Jags were picking 24, but there was a bunch of guys like already off the board.
Yeah. So do they tell you who's off the board before you make your pick?
They do, yeah. Like I couldn't make it until this morning because they were still waiting on a couple other picks.
Yeah, that's interesting to me because you got to coordinate with 32 different people. Well, 31, no offense.
Yeah, it's not easy.
31 different people, and you got to do it in order. So, like, if you have someone who's slow to get back to you, you better hope they're not picking at 5. You know what I mean? As someone putting together the segment. I'm thinking about putting the segment together, Brent.
Yeah, no, you're right. So here's the deal. Like off the board, Bryce Young, Will Anderson, Tyree Wilson, C.J. Stroud, Jalen Carter, Devin Witherspoon, Anthony Richardson, Christian Gonzalez, Paris Johnson, Bijan Robinson, Zay Flowers, Will Levis. Well, he went like 13 or something here.
They must not be on Reddit, whoever
Peter
made that.
Skoronski, Smith and Jigba, Dalton Kincaid, Darnell Wright, Broderick Jones, Nolan Smith, Miles Murphy, Addison, Jordan Addison for the Chargers, Porter Jr. for the Ravens, Quentin Johnston for the Vikings.
So,
That was a lot of guys I just named.
Do.
But was there anybody on that list that, like, Darnell Washington's still available?
Yeah.
Darnell was still available. Now, there are some other people that caught my attention. Brian Branch, still available.
Still available. And then, did you say Nolan Smith already? Was he taken?
Nolan Smith was taken.
Okay.
Yeah, because I looked for him.
There was somebody else that I know I didn't hear. Oh, Deontay Banks.
Oh,
Deontay
a corner.
Banks.
Okay.
Very good. So I put out a poll question today to help me with my. I was already kind of leaning. What?
I voted on that.
You did?
Oh, yeah.
So
Deontay Banks.
Deontay Banks. Here's who I had on my list, just so you guys know. It's more than 4. I just put the one on Twitter. But Van Ness was still available.
Yep.
Breesy from Clemson. Cam Smith, who we interviewed
Friend
at
of
the
the
Super
show,
Bowl.
wearing sacks.
Deontay Banks. Yep. I actually have those on today, I think. Kasey,
nice.
The defensive tackle from Pitt.
Yep.
And Michael Mayer. I put those guys in the group. And Darnell Washington just for Kasey.
Hey, that baby.
And so I have these guys in the group. You know, and I'm a big believer the Jags are going defense. I'm a big believer that I've talked myself into the edge part of this or pass rush part of this, although I don't want to sleep on corner. I still think that has a lot of strength to it. And Banks being available was very appetizing.
I was going to say, with Deontay Banks on the board, it's hard not to take him.
It's near impossible to not take him.
Yeah, I just don't think that's where they're going. I don't think they're going corner.
Even with the opportunity.
Yeah. So, I mean, I did have that opportunity just to I mean, I could have gone – these are
Great
good players still on the board. If you look at most mock drafts, you're not going to find Banks, Kasey, probably not even Mayer and Van Ness on the board.
Agreed.
You know?
Yes.
So, like, for them to if this falls this way, the Jags are going to, at least from an outside looking in standpoint, end up with a really good pick of the litter, you know? I mean, it could be good stuff. All right, so let's set it up and see what we did earlier today on Fitz and Harry.
Time for the chimes one more time. The Jacksonville Jaguars are on the clock, and that means my buddy Brent Martineau from CBS 47, Fox 30, and ESPN 690.
Was this dude at the press conference with Peterson? I mean, what the hell, Brent?
Yeah, that baby Fitz. Hey!
You had to tell all the national people how many checks you got? What a dissect. This is ESPN radio.
Yeah.
You're like CBS 47, Fox 30. Bro,
Yeah!
ESPN, you're on for a reason. Cut to the chase.
Yeah, man.
Anyway. Holy cow.
AM in Jacksonville's got the pick.
With the 24th pick in the 2023 Fitz and Harry mock draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Lucas Van Ness, defensive lineman, Iowa. Didn't like it?
I thought it was a good pick.
That's They are running that card from Jacksonville to Kansas City if Van Ness is still on the board.
It's a long run. They might want to think about emailing instead.
I don't know if they have enough time to get there.
I would take Lucas Van Ness, but not with Deontay Banks on the board.
Do you have the rest
Absolutely.
of my description or no?
Yeah, I got the whole thing. We'll hear from Mel Kiper. He'll say why Brent's an idiot, and then Brent will explain himself, and then Fitz and Harry will say what they feel. Here's the rest of the pick.
Mel Kiper Jr., player profile.
When I look at Van Ness's best football is ahead. He's developing into one heck of a player. 6'5", 272 with long arms, huge hands. Ran 4.58 at the combine, 1.64, 10-yard time. Shows how quick he is out of the blocks. And he's scheme versatile, relentless, disruptive. And like I said, he's just touched the surface of what kind of player he can ultimately become.
Oh, we don't see GM Trent Baalke smile or get excited too often. But if Van Ness was still there at 24, he might be giddy in that Jaguars war room. A Baalke kind of pick. Big guy with length. It's an odd thing to say in Jacksonville these days, but they don't have a lot of holes. They do need to be better at pass rush and build their depth on the roster. Van Ness would check both boxes. He didn't start at Iowa, so he knows how to produce with less snaps out of a rotational role. Van Ness has position versatility and could make an instant impact for the Jaguars defense. Add Van Ness to a room that includes Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker, and the Jags defense could be fun in the fall.
Harry, what do you think? I love this pass rusher. What do you think?
Oh, yes, especially when you add him to Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker and what they've been able to do. Wasn't a full-time starter at Iowa, but I don't think that's going to bother a lot of teams. You talk about a freak of nature. The man has abs. He has abs, Fitz.
Whoa.
Can you understand? He has abs. He plays a DN position. Enough needs to be said. But I think a guy that could really help the Jacksonville Jaguars, I like the length of his arms, but I want to see him get more snaps, and can he sustain a high level of play because he wasn't a starter.
Hi, Cryo Chat Chamber, Matt Cooper. He's J.J. Watt 2.0, Mr. Pico. Length is overrated. Isaiah, Taven Bryant 2.0. Glenn, Miles Murphy, a better option. Lots of split decisions over here.
Murphy was off the board, by the way, and so that would have been an interesting choice.
Yep.
But in this situation, in this exercise, he's off the board, and I think you could put him in that conversation with Van Ness and Breesy and maybe a Miles Murphy type. But, I mean, listen, this is like 34-inch long arms. That's a deal for Trent Baalke that he likes. Like, he wants length. And he's not alone, by the way. We make it seem like it's just a Baalke thing. I mean, football people like length. You can't teach that stuff, right? It's like speed. You can't teach it. And this guy is an up-and-comer. He played the defensive line. They transitioned him into more of the edge guy, so he can do both. He's still a bit inexperienced. I think the whole starting thing is interesting. I was listening to, I think it was Chris Sims talking about it, and I guess he asked him at the Combine. He said basically at Iowa they have a thing where the older guys are going to start, and even if it's 2-3 plays in, then you come in off the bench. So, like, if he had stayed at Iowa, he would have got a ton of starts this year because he's an older guy that's been in the program. So a little old-school way of thinking there, but that's kind of why. Then if you look at the production, based on a guy not starting, it actually makes it seem even better. I think this guy is, from a tool set standpoint, I don't think he gets to 24. Like, I really don't think this guy's getting to 24. There's too many good qualities about him that you're not going to see at the bottom of the first round, I don't think. And like Mel Kiper said it, a lot of people believe this guy's just scratching the surface now. His best stuff is down the road. And isn't that what the draft's all about? Like, trying to find a guy that his best stuff is still in front of him? That means somebody else is going to take a chance before the Jags get to 24.
Case? I know you were saying you thought Lucas Van Ness wouldn't be there either.
Yeah, I mean, if he's there, I'm with it. I agree with you, Brent. I don't think that he is going to be there. But if there's a scenario where him and Deonte Banks are on the board,
why do you like Banks so much?
Because he's legit.
I get it.
It's a good corner that may be available where the Jaguars need it.
And, like, I like the idea that they need – I mean, obviously they need a slot corner. I like the idea that you can draft one that's not, hey, we have to put him in the slot. Yeah. It's, hey, he can play outside or he can play inside, and then whatever we want to do with Darius Williams after next year, he could be locked down on the other side of Tyson. So you don't pigeonhole yourself with who you're picking there, and I think he's really good. So that would be my answer.
People like Banks a lot. Now, listen, these are both guys. Again, this is an exercise. This was on Fitz and Harry. You can listen to the show before our show each and every day on ESPN 690. That you just got to see how the board develops.
Sure.
And most people, if you look at mock drafts around, again, the experts, if they know what they're talking about, they'll have Van Ness and Deonte Banks off the board by pick 20. Like, you're not going to find them. And so in this situation, I'm blessed with a bunch of value at 24.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I thought those guys would be off the board, and then it's maybe do you go edge in a guy like Breesy, or is Kasey still there? He's another guy that by 20 most of the times has been off the board.
That's
do you
Aaron's
start
guy.
looking at tight end? Do you go Cam Smith here? Do you go Brian Banks here? But I ruled out corner when you had this many options, basically, from an edge defensive line standpoint. I think there will be too many to pass up. We know the book on Baalke. We know that he likes the bigger guys, the trench guys. We know the number one thing they want to do is get better in the pass rush in 2023. If there is one level of improvement, it is the pass rush. Well, they don't do that by picking a corner. Now, you can help it, but you don't necessarily do that. You need somebody to get home at the quarterback spot and round out your rotation. And this guy, I think, would be a heck of a steal for the Jacksonville Jaguars. But I don't dismiss what you said about Banks, because I do think there would be plenty of value there if Banks is still available.
Yeah.
When you're a long guy, though, and you get as close as the Jaguars were getting to the quarterback without getting home, the length will help as well.
And apparently massive hands, according to Mel Kiper.
Yep.
The opposite of Kenny Pickett.
Hey, you want to know how much I looked this stuff up? Listen, I do my research for this, all right?
On hand
the
size.
Nat, we're with Fitz and Harry. We're in the big-time show now.
Well,
you never know. This might be
once
resume
again-
material for me.
Once again, stop saying we. We didn't have a say in the matter. You.
But hey, I'll bring you along, maybe. I'll bring you along.
Oh,
That's how this
okay.
works.
A little coattail action. I like that.
Yeah, I'm here for that.
But
whatever it takes.
Breesy, unless I saw a misprint here, Breesy is this is a young man out of Clemson, right? Or maybe it was Miles Murphy. Was it Murphy? I was looking up Murphy and Breesy and Van Ness. So it's either Breesy or Murphy, one of the Clemson guys. 33-plus arm length, which, again, is a number that these guys like. I know it sounds goofy, but it's what they like. The hand size on one of those guys, whatever one I was looking at, is 8.5. You know the hand size on Van Ness? 11.
Yeah.
11 versus another guy that's in the same category, like he weighs like 6 more pounds than him, and his hand size 8.5. And the reason I say that is because I remember multiple times through this draft process years when they're looking at defensive linemen especially, what they ask about is heavy hands. Do you have heavy hands? And because that's a big thing. And when I saw the hands, I was like, oh, my God. Like, this guy's not getting there. They call him Hercules. Like, he's a specimen that can play multiple positions. And if you watch him, watch the highlights, because he's in an Iowa uniform, he actually does look a lot like T.J. Watt. He's white. He's in an Iowa uniform. He's wearing the black and yellow. And he has some T.J. Watt qualities. Now, what they say about him is he's more J.J. Watt in terms of the way he moves around along that line of scrimmage in his skill set. So, fascinating pick if they were able to get him. I just can't imagine. But what I do start to think about, guys, would this be a player that the Jags covet so much that they'd be willing to go up and get at 18, 19, or 20 if he's still there?
Yeah, it would have to be close to their pick. I don't think they're going past a 19 or a 20 to go up and get somebody in this draft.
One other thing about this, before we head to break, I did do a poll before just to gauge what people think.
Gauge it, Brent.
And I thought it was really wild. So I put Breesy on there. I put Kasey on there because, again, a lot of draft. Kasey's not on there in a lot of mock drafts. He's not getting a 24. Breesy is. Breesy's more maybe an early second-round guy, late first-round guy. So the poll is only like 100. I only did it for like an hour. It's like 160 votes. And Van Ness was 41%, and Banks was 41%.
Wow.
41% of those people are my people, baby.
It's divided. But here's the deal, Kasey. You just said it. You'd be cool with either one.
I would, 100%.
Like, in this kind of scenario,
technically, 82% of those people are my people.
Technically, the way.
Which I'd be fine with both, yeah.
If you're a fence sitter.
Yeah, either or, it's fine.
That's the situation. So that was a lot of fun. Thanks to Fitz and Harry for having me on. Again, you can listen to those guys each and every day on ESPN 690 before our show. And don't forget NFL draft coverage Thursday and Friday night right here on ESPN 690. We'll be right back.
Brent and Friends is sponsored by Best Bet, now open in St. Augustine.
Jason Fitz and Harry Douglas are Fitz and Harry.
Lamar at this point has made it very clear. He feels disrespected through this whole process. He feels devalued through this whole process. He's made it abundantly clear he doesn't want to play for the Ravens. He's also made it clear he's pissed off about the way they've turned the conversation to him quitting on his team. You think money fixes that? No, money doesn't fix that level of feelings. Like, money didn't fix that level of feelings long-term for Aaron Rodgers. It ain't going to fix that level of feelings short-term or long-term.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Susan, I'm sorry I'm late. Traffic is terrible.
It sure is. But on top of that, gas prices have been skyrocketing. I can't believe how expensive gas has gotten recently.
Prices at the pump are up, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Upside app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back every time I buy gas.
And does that actually add up to anything?
I've made around $200.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code LUCK for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or any gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code LUCK for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code LUCK for 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up.
I'm Mark Anajar.
I'm Glenn Levine.
I'm Ellie Anajar.
And we're Anajar and Levine. Experience the Anajar and Levine difference by calling us with any of your legal needs. Call 1-800-747-FREE for a free consultation and take back control of your life.
Main office, Jacksonville.
Right now, American Window Products is offering the newest features in window technology with Ultra Dual Low E glass and insulated vinyl frames with magnet weather stripping on windows for an airtight seal to help reduce your energy usage. All at an affordable price. This exclusive offer is for a limited time, so act now to save big with 12 months zero interest financing. Schedule a free estimate at AmericanWindowProducts.com. American Window Products, the window professionals. Financing at time of sale for new orders only.
This spring, you might be wondering, why is the sky so blue? How do flowers grow? And the biggest question of all, why buy from Arlington Toyota? I'll tell you why. First, peace of mind. Buy any new Toyota from Arlington, their lifetime warranty goes with you. That's unlimited time and miles. Plus, there's Arlington's 30-day exchange program. That's 30 days to love your new purchase or exchange it. You even get complimentary car wash with your service visit. Now you know why you should buy from Arlington. 10939 Atlantic Boulevard and online at arlingtontoyota.com.
Rich Jones here. Investing can be more about just filling a bank account. It's about having a secure retirement, protecting your family. Let DLP Capital help you to protect your why. Here's CEO and founder Don Wenner.
I started DLP Capital with an expectation that I could provide my family, my investors, my team members, and the families of my investors with awesome returns, limited volatility, and no losses, all while providing desperately needed affordable housing to the American workforce.
To get your investor's guide and learn more, dial *invest on your cell phone or visit highyieldreturns.net.
Calling all poker players. Brace yourselves for an epic month of poker at Best Bet Orange Park this April. In honor of our 15th anniversary, we're giving away $15,000 in high-hand promotions on Saturday, April 15th. And that's not all. Our highly popular $400 no-limit hold'em Greater Orange Park Open with a guaranteed prize pool of $40,000 is happening on April 22nd. Don't miss your chance to participate in these exciting events. For more information, visit bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Mom, can I have some ice cream?
I've got a better idea. Who wants to help me make something fun and healthy instead?
Eating smarter is easy and delicious. Interested in receiving healthy recipes and a whole lot more in your email? Then register at healthiestweightfl.com and learn more about all the small steps that you can take on the way to living healthy. This message is sponsored by the Ounce of Prevention Fund of Florida, the Florida Department of Health, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
As parents, we all want to ensure that our children are safe, secure, and healthy starting day one. Please make sure your newborn is sleeping safely. Visit wolfsonchildrens.com/safe sleep for infant safety tips. That's wolfsonchildrens.com/safe sleep.
Wendy's $3 breakfast deal is a bacon or sausage egg croissant plus small seasoned potatoes for $3. It's the breakfast that don't miss. So if you did miss Wendy's breakfast, don't imagine fresh cracked eggs, sizzling sausage, crispy bacon, and block out those hot, buttery, flaky croissants. Croissants don't really make a sound, but if they did, for a breakfast that don't miss, Wendy's is that breakfast. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's $3 breakfast deal.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Select a request $3 breakfast deal to obtain discount. Not valid for a la carte combo orders.
Hey, it's Brent Mortno from Action Sports Jacks. Did you know you can watch our radio show? Yeah, video of a radio show. Just search ESPN 690 Jacks on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, or follow me on Twitter at Brent A.S. Jacks. Watch the show live weekdays from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. or listen on ESPN 690.
Hey, welcome back, Brent Friends on ESPN 690. Brent Martin, Aaron Schachter, Kasey Kurtz here on a Tuesday. Draft coming up on Thursday. Draft party sold out, by the way, for the Jags. We will be there. Hopefully the weather holds off, but obviously underneath in Daly's place, so should be okay. And we will have a 1-hour draft night in Duval special on Fox 30. We'll be there with the radio show as well, 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. here on Brent and Friends. And we have draft coverage here on ESPN 690 all night and Friday as well. Is that a chuckle over there?
I was wondering the same thing, Aaron. What was that sound?
I was wondering that too, Brent. What was that? It's a mystery.
Either you chuckled or sniffled. I don't know which one.
Think he's laughing at you, Brent.
Am I not right about
No.
coverage? Did I make a mistake?
I don't think you did.
Was an error somewhere in there?
Might have been.
Likely, but not one we noticed.
This guy's just making random old person noises into the microphone.
The trail. There we go again.
Some of us don't breathe so easy, Kasey. My wife's like, yeah, now you know how I feel.
Okay. Trey Lance, Derrick Henry. Those guys aren't going anywhere, apparently.
Man, no market for either of those guys? I don't think it means that they're not going anywhere. I just think it means that people aren't calling yet.
Why wouldn't people call about Derrick Henry?
I mean,
Lance,
who's out there?
I kind of see the hesitation, but
I'm curious which team would be interested outside of maybe the Eagles or the Falcons. But like, does anyone really want to take on $15 million? That's his number.
A lot of money.
It is the last year of the deal, so like for instance, if San Francisco was running it back without a Christian McCaffrey, maybe that would be a great addition for them. But I was just talking to Kasey about this in the break. Like I hate that running backs are so devalued now. I love a game run through a running back or a group of running backs. And there's just no place for it in the NFL right now.
Not at that value, right? Not at that kind of money. because you can get similar production. Like, there's just not enough separation. Now, listen, Derrick Henry has certainly earned himself that kind of money. He should be getting paid good bucks for what he did and what he has done.
Oh, yeah.
But when you start approaching 30 years old and then you put $12, $15 million on top of it and everything else, now you really start to say, okay, if we pay a guy $3 million, can we get 80% of that? And the answer oftentimes to the running back position can be yes. Derrick Henry is a little bit different animal in that sense because you can run everything through him. The other problem with Derrick Henry is I'm not sure everybody wants to run everything through him. That's a lot of carries for him. And also, while it's been successful, it hasn't turned into a Super Bowl winner for the Tennessee Titans. And you know his best years are probably behind him.
Most likely. Although he doesn't look to be slowing down anytime soon.
Is anybody of note going to get traded in the next couple of days, like on draft day?
I do have this in tweets.
Lance.
I'll give you a long list of players once we get to tweets who have been rumored to be traded. I'd love to hear from you guys out of the list I give you. Who do you think is going to get moved? But I feel fairly confident that Trey Lance is not getting moved on draft day. I don't see how the Niners would want to do that when they can just let him play the season and try and raise that value.
Yeah. I think you can go back and forth. I think that's the one that who's trading for him?
I think
what's
there are
the
some
value
teams.
of Trey Lance? Like, Trey Lance has zero value.
Well, if you can't get a quarterback you like in this draft and you don't want to send 3 firsts and your best wide receiver to go do it, then Trey Lance might be an appealing option depending on, what value the Niners think he's worth. Like, if you're calling the Niners and they're saying to you they want a second-round pick, you can tell them to go kick rocks, but if you're kicking the tires on Trey Lance and they come back at you with a 4th or a 5th or something like that, why not?
Well, we'll see if anybody does move, and not just these guys, Lance or Henry, but anybody moves, and you'll have some more names of possibility coming up in football at 5 here on ESPN 690. We'll be right back.
I'm Howard Mackler, founder of Innovation Refunds. You've heard me talking about the payroll tax refund for months. If you own a business, even if you've asked your CPA about this, you owe it to yourself to take another look. We provide a licensed and insured tax attorney who evaluates your company at my expense to determine eligibility. Businesses of all types can qualify, so go to getrefunds.com to potentially get a payroll tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee. Download the Innovation Refunds app or go to getrefunds.com, getrefunds.com.
Just be confident. Just be valued. Just be totally zen. Community First makes smarter banking simple, easy, and convenient with better rates, fewer fees, and great digital tools so you can relax, confident that you're managing your money the right way. Yours. Add an account today on your phone, tablet, or desktop at communityfirstfl.org. That's communityfirstfl.org. Community First Credit Union. Just be yourself. Federally insured by NCUA.
The following message is sponsored by the Florida Department of Elder Affairs, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
It was an opportunity for me to put everything I was as a person into work.
They have so much to offer, and they need to be respected and taken care of and listened to.
Being an ombudsman gives me that opportunity to pay it forward.
For more information, go to ombudsman.elderaffairs.org. That's ombudsman.elderaffairs.org.
What defines a hero? Dedication, loyalty, courage. Every day at AMCO, we serve heroes. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. From complex transmissions to simple brake jobs with flexible financing and the extra safety precautions we need. The heroes we serve don't all wear uniforms. They're people like you. At AMCO, we're proud to serve all of you. AA MCO.
Money tight? We can finance almost anybody. Find the AMCO transmissions nearest you at amcojacksonville.com.
Discover how good your water can be with the new Connecticut softener and drinking water system. Connecticut's twin tank non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available, and their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. This month, you can get 50% off a Connecticut K5 drinking water system with a purchase of a Connecticut Premier Series softener. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and provide solutions that are right for you and your family. Imagine having clean, clear, purified water at your home. No more plastic bottles, no more waste, just great tasting, purified water that you can trust. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. Financing options available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1428211.
Jacksonville is a great place to live. And if you love where you live, you should invest in it. That's why more and more people bank with One-to-One Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. We invest every penny back into North Florida, backing the very best small businesses, nonprofits, and of course the family home. Why put your money with some big out-of-state bank when you can invest in where you love to live? One-to-One Financial, we're your hometown credit union. Sign up today at one-to-one-fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
Getting to know yourself can be a lifelong process, especially since you're always growing and changing. Therapy is all about deepening that self-awareness, because sometimes you don't know what you really want until you talk things through. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist online who can take you on that journey of self-discovery from wherever you are. Visit betterhelp.com/score to get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/score.
Every piece of land has a story. The Upshaw's right there is with a John Deere 1 Series tractor they call Penny.
When your project comes up, you have to just jump in and figure out what is it going to take.
From front loader to backhoe, the Upshaws have the tools to DIY all day long. Run with us on a 1 Series tractor and start telling your story. Get a 1 Series tractor starting at $134 per month at your John Deere dealer today. For additional cost information, please call toll-free 855-633-2315.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. One day after the blockbuster trade to acquire quarterback Aaron Rodgers, Jets GM Joe Douglas met with the media. He defended the draft capital New York gave up in the deal, said they're comfortable with how the trade has shaped, and they achieved their ultimate goal by getting Rodgers. He is New York's final piece to contend for a Super Bowl, believes ESPN's Herm Edwards.
They bring a guy in the building that basically, when he walks into the stadium, before the game even starts, you figure, well, we got 14 points because we got Aaron Rodgers. He's going to throw at least 2 touchdown passes every game.
Herm Edwards on Fitz and Harry. The Clippers will be without their 2 best players in a must-win in Game 5 of their first-round NBA playoff series tonight against the Suns. Kawhi Leonard and Paul George both still out with knee sprains. Stanley Cup playoffs. Avalanche star defenseman Cale Makar suspended 1 game by the NHL for his hit on Kraken forward Jared McCann in Game 4. McCann sidelined at least for Game 5 tomorrow night. Outfielder Brian Reynolds and the NL Central leading Pirates agreed on an 8-year, $106 million extension. It is the franchise's first $100 million deal.
Coming up Wednesday, as we get closer to a Knicks Heat series, why not talk to the great Larry Johnson? Grandmama joins us. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, 6 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
ESPN 690 and Action Sports Jacks presents Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau.
We're going to have to show a little more patience than the year 2 pom-pom people.
Kasey Kurtz.
Yo! Well, what are we doing, bro? Come on!
And Aaron Schachter.
I'm all in favor of these two showing their love and really celebrating their relationship.
Get him! Get him! Get him! Hit him! Hit him! Hit him! Yeah! Pull Jack from him! Yeah! Pull Jack from him! This is Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau, Kasey Kurtz, and Aaron Schachter on Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio, ESPN 690.
4 o'clock hour we go, Brent Friends on ESPN 690. We're 2 days away from the NFL Draft 2023, and obviously we wait and we wait and we wait. It's just a different circumstance. We're going to get into Kasey's article on ESPN690.com about who they could select. And, you know, one thing I want to ask Kasey and Aaron, I mean, how wide-ranging is what the Jags could pick in this draft? I think it's wide open. There's certainly some speculation how good the draft is. Somebody came out today, said there are only 20 first-round grades according to some GMs around the league or football people around the league. So that creates a lot of different thought processes about who you would take, I think, at number 24. And if you really started listing folks that could be available in that spot for the Jags, I think the list could go somewhere like 10, 12, 15 deep. That would make sense for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So we'll talk about a little more of that in just a moment. Speaking of the NFL draft and an NFL guy, it's our buddy Greg Coleman. We welcome onto the show right now on Brent Friends on ESPN 690. Of course, a longtime Minnesota Viking, drafted back in 1976 out of FAMU, former Reigns Viking, in the 14th round. Well, I guess it was good they did 14 rounds back then, but I'm kind of glad for work purposes they don't do it now, Greg.
Absolutely. That tells you, man, that I was not a big bonus baby. So it was the end of the second day in the 14th round by the Cincinnati Bengals. Had a great experience up there in training camp with the late, great Ken Riley. I rode up to training camp with him. Unfortunately, he did not get the opportunity to smell his roses before getting inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. But we're going to celebrate nonetheless up in August, up in Canton. We're going to celebrate his legacy and his induction into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I'm just so thrilled about that. But, talking about the draft, I mean, it could go either way for a lot of different teams. A lot of trades and cuts are going to happen between now and then. I was up in Minnesota a couple of days ago in the building talking to some folks. I mean, a lot of speculation about what's going to happen with Dalvin Cook in that whole piece. That will throw a monkey wrench into the whole draft for the Vikings. But, there've been talk about quarterback. They need help in the secondary. But obviously, the talk is, hey, do we trade down to get more picks? It's a crapshoot, and it's way beyond my intelligence what these organizations are going to do. What I normally do, Brent, is whoever they draft and bring into the building, that's who I focus on because it's just too many kids in college. But, hey, it's an exciting time for somebody because the NFL is going to change the life and the culture of a lot of young men in this country. So I wish them all the best.
I know as Greg Coleman joins us, your heart is in Jacksonville, of course, your hometown, but also in Minnesota where he spent so much time playing, but as a broadcaster as well. They're very interesting because they're picking back-to-back. Minnesota's picking 23. Obviously, the Jags picking 24. And there's a lot of conversation that maybe the future quarterback could end up going to Minnesota. Give us a quick sense because you're so familiar. I think Kirk Cousins is such an interesting conversation point around the National Football League. His numbers, Greg, have been really strong. He's a good football player, really good football player. But they haven't won as much as they had hoped to with him. What's the vibe up in Minnesota? Not necessarily maybe even in the building, but around the franchise on maybe the future of Kirk Cousins after this year?
Well, I think it's up in the air. Obviously, when you don't win, when you've had some of the great receivers and the running back and with Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen and now, KJ Osborne, the kid out of Miami coming on and having a fantastic year. It's hard. You don't win Super Bowls and championships with offense only. And there have been some holes in the defense. There were a number of seasons where a Mike Zimmer-led defense couldn't stop teams, couldn't keep them out of the end zone in the fourth quarter. That's not on Kirk Cousins. You look at the numbers that Kirk has put up over the last number of years, he's always in the top 10. But again, you win championships with defense. And that's been the Achilles heel of this football team, especially over the last several years. But the talk in the community, well, man, we haven't gotten done with Kirk, so let's ride the wave. Let's see what happens, especially a division without Aaron Rodgers this year. If there's going to be a year, if there's going to be a time, this is the time for Kirk Cousins to shine in that NFC Northern Division.
That's a great point with the absence now of Aaron Rodgers, and we'll see the Jordan Love era begin in that NFC North. By the way, I think I just saw a moment ago that the Minnesota Vikings have picked up that 5th-year option on Justin Jefferson. I think that news just came in, if I saw that correctly. So there's a little more Vikings.
That's smart. That's very smart.
That's pretty smart.
I would say
he's an interesting young man too, because he is not one of these guys that talks a lot about the money. Kind of says, whatever about the money. The money will be the money. He's more worried about his play and his legacy, I think, which is really a cool thing. We have Greg Coleman here on ESPN 690. We love when he jumps on the show. We talk a bunch of different topics, including most recently the Bob Hayes Invitational, and now we want to tell everybody about a golf tournament coming up this Monday. It's the Coach Day Scholarship Golf Tournament that is happening on May 1st. And Greg, tell us how folks can get involved and how much this impacts and benefits the folks that the money goes to.
Well, it goes to kids who are looking to continue their education in college. It's the 21st year of the James Coach Day Scholarship Golf Tournament out at Eagle Landing on Monday morning, May 1st. Now, we still have some spots available. BHITM22.org. We are encouraging people to go online and get signed up. Put your teams together. It's late in the game, but we still have some spots available. We have some great partners in this community, starting with Pepsi and Corker Law and so many others. Because let's face it, all of our young people are not going to hell in a handbasket. Sometimes they just need a little help, and that's what this tournament is for, to give them a leg up in life, to give them a step, to give them a helping hand, especially to pursue their college degrees. And we've got some great live auction items, some great silent auction items. Breakfast and lunch is included. It's only $125 out at Eagle Landing. Man, and you can also donate, Brett, on from that same website, BHITM22.org. If you're not able to come out and participate, it's just been a lifeline for a lot of young people in this community that Coach Day, I mean, what everybody's not going to get a track scholarship to college. These kids are making a great mark with their education, with their grades, with their grade points, and all of those things. So we supporting, unfortunately, Coach Day left us last year, but his legacy lives on. Not only the body of work that he did for the Bob Hayes track meet, but now this scholarship fund. We gave away 7 scholarships this year. His goal and our goal this year is to provide scholarships for kids, and he wanted to see 50 kids lined up at that Bob Hayes track meet next year, 2024, pursuing their education through scholarships through the James Coach Day Scholarship Fund.
That's awesome. Greg Coleman with us. And by the way, you have done a fantastic job of keeping Coach Day's legacy alive. You, I know, are not alone, but certainly have been one of the voices involved in sharing the message. And that's an excellent cause out at Eagle Landing coming up on Monday. The Coach James Day Scholarship Golf Tournament. 50 scholarships is the goal to get to, as Greg just mentioned, for next year. And there are a few openings still to go on Eagle Landing Golf Club, which is a fantastic venue. Make sure you check out those greens, Greg. They can be running a little quick now out there. So
well, they are. And last year, your buddy and I, we hammed and egged it up. We did okay. So we're defending champions. I'm dealing with a little back issue, so I'm not going to play. I'm just going to host, go around and putt a few with all of the groups, do what Coach Day would have done. But John Bachman, man, he was rolling the rock last year. Let me tell you something. It was something special to see.
That's awesome. I just tweeted out the link as well so people can get involved. And, again, you got a few days. Hey, want to go play some golf on Monday after a long draft weekend? Why don't you check it out at Eagle Landing Golf Course and help out the James Day Golf Tournament, which will, again, raise money for scholarships for all these student athletes, which is an awesome thing to do for them, but also to keep Coach Day's legacy alive. Greg, we appreciate you so much. Thanks for sharing the message, and hope you have an awesome day out there on Monday. Enjoy draft weekend as well.
Hey, I will do, man. Really appreciate you and your support over the years. Man, anytime you need me, let me know.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Get that back well so we can play.
You got it. I'm going to hold you to it.
All right. Sounds good. That is Greg Coleman. He's awesome. One of the great guys in Jacksonville. Obviously a Reigns Viking. Brother, the great Vince Coleman as well. I think you got a little athletic ability in that family out of Reigns High School.
That was my guy, Vince Coleman.
Really?
Base stealing demon on the Mets and the Cardinals.
Man, awesome. It's funny you say the Mets because, I don't remember Vince Coleman at all.
Neither.
Like, from the outside looking in at the Mets, I always remember him as a St. Louis Cardinal.
Sure. It's like Ricky Henderson. People remember him as a Yankee or an A, but he was a Met too.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Who'd you just say that? Oh,
Ricky Henderson. Another one of
He
my
was a Red
favorite
Sox
baseball
too,
players
right,
all
Brent?
time. Was he?
Yeah, but, he's an Oakland A. Like, he might as well – he'd never put on another uniform. He was an Oakland
What?
A.
He played for 17 teams.
I know.
A lot of teams.
But he was an A.
Like, you want to tell me Vince Coleman, I'm like, fine. But Ricky?
But he was like an Oakland A's. Like, that's how you see him. Like, you see Ricky Henderson. I see Ricky Henderson as an Oakland A. Like, that's it.
I'm okay with that.
In the other 16 jerseys.
I'm okay with that.
It's funny how that does work, right?
Mm-hmm.
We do that a lot in
Robin
sports.
Ventura is my favorite baseball player all the time. I see him as a Chicago White Sox, even though he was on the Mets for a long time.
Yeah, I
He's
see him as
managing
a
their farm
punching
system.
bag for Nolan Ryan.
All right, Brent. Good.
Breaking news, guys.
Cool.
Breaking news.
I'm
in.
glad.
It's a little bit different than yesterday's breaking news. Brent, this is mostly for you, my guy.
Okay.
We forgot Aaron's 20-year anniversary.
Oh, that's not breaking
Today?
news.
No, it was actually like earlier the month, but we totally missed it. And he
You mean at the place?
Yeah,
At Cox Media Group?
He's
the
worked.
place.
He's worked at Cox Media Group for 20 years. There were like emails. It was on the TV screens, and we
Missed it.
Missed it
Because you guys care.
by 20 days.
Yeah. You guys care about me.
20
It is
years,
all
so
right.
what? I mean, get us.
So what? That's
tell
what
us-
I'm saying.
Tell us when it's like 25 or 50.
Right. What have you done for me lately, Brent? I know. That's what they say.
I
We
mean,
missed
20
it.
years. Like, if you go 20 years, that's not getting you to retirement, buddy. I mean,
Right.
get to like 30, 35.
I got another 25, 30 to go.
Oh, not that long. How old are you again?
40. What year is it? I'm 43.
Ideally, if you could
You're
retire
only
in
43?
reasonable. When I was a kid, everybody talked about the age of 55 as retirement. Well,
What?
that's not the thing anymore.
No.
You don't remember like older people talking about 55?
Not really.
Oh, that was a thing, man. Like now, nobody even talks 55.
Well, you
right?
can't. You're not allowed.
So, but I think like a lot of those, whatever, maybe it was 401k or whatever, maybe it was Social Security. I don't know what it was, but back, I think it used to be 55 was like a big target date.
Wow.
And so now what is the target? 62, 65, 67?
Yeah, they
somewhere
give
in
you
there.
a choice. Once you hit like 62 around there, depending on your company, they're like, you could leave now at this number or hold on for dear life for another 2 years for this number.
Yeah. So, like, ideally, don't you want to beat the number if you could? Don't you feel like you won? Like,
Well,
if
the
you could
goal
beat
is
the
to
number?
retire tomorrow.
Yeah, but again, that's not realistic. So, realistically, you're what, 41?
I'm 43, and
Three.
apparently
43.
way more of a failure than I thought.
Yeah.
It's not realistic.
Well, that's not realistic to retire tomorrow. Sorry. Not 20 years at Cox Media Group. That ain't going to do it. Not the office you've been sitting in.
Yeah, man, but by the time we're old enough to retire, well, Brent, you're probably retiring in a couple of years, but by the time me and Kasey are old enough to retire, that age will probably be like 70.
Oh, geez.
It's really increased at 67. Like, I thought my dad would retire as soon as he could, and he ended up going until he was 67, I think.
Well, they got to push it back. Just because people are living longer, they need to earn longer. right?
Exactly.
They need to pay for stuff longer.
That's a big part of it, of course.
yeah.
So 60. I'm saying 60 would be, like, if you could pick, get me to 60 and then out the door and go golf a lot, like, that'd be pretty cool, right?
That'd be cool. I'm struggling to wrap my head around the concept of not working for 30 years while you wait to die.
It's true, though. It's like what it is.
It's like every day you wake up, you go,
yeah, but it could
not
be
today.
30 days, man.
Could be. If you're lucky.
If you're lucky.
I'm just saying, you don't want to sit around watching The Price is Right every day for 30 years. That's a long time.
That's a fair point.
How much Wheel of Fortune can you take?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. 60. How about this? How about you just, like, lessen it? At 60, you can get out.
You
just
bring
do
down the
radio
employment
show.
a little bit. Maybe you do a little part-time work. Listen,
right.
Brent, I don't want to hear nothing from you. You will have 17 jobs for the rest of your life. Not only will you have all those jobs, you will happily list them for anyone who asks you what you have going on.
A lot of checks.
A lot of checks.
A lot of checks.
Keep the checks rolling in.
Did you get your blue check back? A lot of people getting the blue check marks back.
Oh, really? I don't think so. I haven't checked. Speaking of, probably not. I don't know if I'm important enough for that. How do I even check this thing?
You just go to your profile.
Oh, it would be right next to my name?
You don't got it, bro.
There's an icon that says Twitter. You just tap that.
You absolutely do not have it.
I don't. I just. It's not that I don't have it. It's just I absolutely don't have it.
Well, I saw LeBron got his back. I'm like, well, Brent's got to get his back soon, too.
That's pretty much the same thing.
A lot of the Hollywood folks got him back. Right?
Did you see the one? It's not funny.
Oh, no.
But
oh, no.
Did you see that Kobe Bryant got his back?
Oh.
And
Why
it
are you
said,
laughing, bro?
It's not funny. It said
Why are you
verified
laughing?
by
That's not
Twitter
cool.
Blue or phone number. I'm like, I don't think that happened. I just got a feeling.
Cool.
Yeah, not cool to laugh, bro.
Yeah, I'm not laughing.
Not
It
cool
sounded
anyway.
like you were.
The retirement age I'm going for is 60. I want an age. Both of you guys, I'm going to hold you to it.
So wait, is this the goal?
Yeah, like I want to retire. I'm going to retire by the age of X, like realistically.
I want to retire. How long am I living? That's an important part of the equation. Give me a death date.
Depends how much you watch the Jets.
Get heart
I'm going to give you to 83.
If I'm living to 83, 65 would be real nice.
All right. You want 18 years in retirement and watching that Price is Right?
It's really 15 years. I'll take 3 years to get accustomed, maybe go to therapy, realize I have no value to the world anymore, and I just got to kind of hang for a bit. And then I'll just slide into that 15 nice and easy. It's got to be tough. Like, you see athletes struggle with it all the time, Brent, but imagine you're like, the only thing I had to provide to the world was calling ace-son tennis matches, and now what do I do every day?
Ace-son tennis. Now I play pickleball. I'm calling pickleball matches.
On the senior circuit.
Kasey, are you hating retirement as much as Aaron is?
Not real. I'm not gonna make it. Come on, guys.
Oh, Case.
You're not going to make it to retirement?
Casey lives for something like retirement.
Listen, yeah, I do. But listen, if you're saying the age is now like 60 to 67, come on, guys.
It's really like 65 to 67.
You think I'm making another 40 years? Look at me.
Modern medicine, man. By the time you're in your 60s, you won't even need the body anymore. They'll upload your consciousness to the cloud.
I don't want that. Take my consciousness with my body and put it somewhere underground, and let's just call this thing done.
Okay.
Yeah, I ain't making it, boys.
Before you have to watch the 1500th episode of Price is Right in retirement.
From the cloud.
Gosh, I can't wait until I retire. I don't know about you guys. We live different lives. I love that.
Yeah, think about how much time you'll have to go to your grandkids' softball and baseball games at
Absolutely,
that point.
man.
But is that any different than your actual job? Because you go to those anyway, you still work.
Well, now you won't have to broadcast.
So maybe just hold on as long as possible.
Yeah, maybe I will. That's a good idea. All right, I am going to check out this article that Kasey wrote and got ripped for writing.
Really did.
Got that.
Old Bobby Kemp coming after him.
I'm a visionary. This is what they said about Steve Jobs when he thought of Apple.
I sent your article for resume material, by the way.
Ah, crap.
Hope it was some of your best stuff.
I traded up for a quarterback. What are we doing?
Don't forget to check out all of Kasey's work on our YouTube channel or podcast.
Thanks for reaching out, though, Brent. I appreciate it.
ESPN 690. You can check out our YouTube channel all the time for everything to do with TV and here on this multimedia platform show. Action Sports Jacks is the channel.
Now, the First Alert Forecast on ESPN 690.
Mostly cloudy today with a few showers at times. Highs between 75 and 80 degrees. Dropping to near 60 tonight. Mostly cloudy with a widely scattered shower tomorrow. Your Wednesday high in the lower 80s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish. Join me today beginning at 5 p.m. on CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jack.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds.
Don't miss Beard's Diamonds' incredible buy one, get one wedding band sale going on now.
Get ready for a month of nonstop excitement at the one and only Card Room and Sports Bar in St. Augustine. Best bet. Hit it big and win even bigger with InstaPay weekends every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And don't miss your chance to win big with our $100 Lucky Seat giveaways every 15 minutes on April 5th and 10th. Plus, we're bringing you $1,000 high hands between all Best Bet locations on April 10th, along with daily high hand promotions. Best Bet St. Augustine, conveniently located at exit 311 off I-95. For more information, visit bestbetjacks.com.
As the seasons change, one thing remains the same. Jacksonville and all of Northeast Florida are fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks. If you spot ESPN 690 anywhere in the community, come hang with us and grab an ice-cold Celsius.
Discover how good your water can be with the new Connecticut softener and drinking water system. Connecticut's twin tank non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available, and their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. This month, you can get 50% off a Connecticut K5 drinking water system with a purchase of a Connecticut Premier Series softener. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and provide solutions that are right for you and your family. Imagine having clean, clear, purified water at your home. No more plastic bottles, no more waste, just great tasting, purified water that you can trust. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. Financing options available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1428211.
Hey folks, Dave Benyon here with Zero Res. I'm here today with my son Ammon. Ammon is the air duct manager for Zero Res. So Ammon, many people may be wondering, why should I get my air ducts cleaned?
Well, there's two good reasons. First is indoor air quality. As we live in our homes, we generate a great deal of air pollutants such as dander, dust, and chemicals. These contaminants are pulled into the HVAC system and are recirculated 5 to 7 times per day. The second reason is that a clean system is much more energy efficient than a dirty one. According to the U.S. Department of Energy, 25 to 40% of the energy used for cooling a home can be wasted. Contaminants in the HVAC system cause it to work harder and shorten its lifespan.
So, what kind of deals are you running?
This month, I'll give you $50 off your air duct cleaning. And if you mention WOKV, I'll disinfect your air ducts for free. That's normally $100.
Wow, so I can get up to $150 off?
That's right.
Remember, folks, Zero Res,
spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Firefighters, paramedics, police officers, they take care of us, and at AMCO, we're proud to take care of them. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. As an essential business, we work on every kind of car repair with flexible financing and extra safety precautions. Essential, reliable, trusted. That's the men and women who are there for us, and it's our honor to be there for them. AA MCO.
Money tight? We can finance almost anybody. Find the AMCO transmissions nearest you at amcojacksonville.com.
For over 100 years, the LJD Jewish Family and Community Services has been here, helping people with food, financial assistance, counseling, and many other services for those in need. JFCS is here for Jax. Visit jfcsjax.org.
Hello there. My name is Seychelle, and what makes the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich original to me is the punch of flavors that's unlike any other. You get the crispy tenderness of the chicken and that hint of sourness from the pickles. Ta-da!
Hey, I'm Juan, and what makes the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich original to me is you're gonna get chicken that's crispy, golden, and juicy. This is the gold standard of chicken sandwiches.
Order the original Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich on the Chick-fil-A app today. Real customers paid for their testimonials.
If you want your dental visit to feel like this, try Crest Densify. Crest Densify actively rebuilds tooth density to extend the life of teeth by remineralizing enamel. Crest, the #1 toothpaste brand in America.
When looking for a partner in your property search, know that agents who are realtors are different. Realtors are bound by a code of ethics, putting your best interests first. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe. You can watch us on CBS 47 and Fox 30. You can listen right here on ESPN 690. And you can subscribe to our YouTube and podcast, Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe.
Friends on ESPN 690. Brent Martin, Kasey Kurtz, Aaron Schachter. Quick thought, Aaron, did the Jets get ripped off on the Rodgers trade? Or did the Jets win because they now have the best quarterback since Joe Namath?
So I was bringing some of this frantic energy to Kasey's control room while we talked about this.
We actually just did this for the whole break.
Yeah.
I told you we should just turn up the volume on the break sometime.
I'm split. A couple of, yes, on the surface, it really does feel like they got raked over the coals here.
I don't understand why people say that.
Because of this reason and solely this reason. The Packers' choices were to pay Aaron Rodgers $60 million for fun or trade with the Jets. And so when you talk about who's got leverage or not, it's been debated since the idea of this trade started. But in real life leverage, the Packers had none of it. They had none of it. Aaron Rodgers could have made their life hell if he wanted to. It didn't get to that, but it was certainly on the table. What happens if the Jets don't want to negotiate that first-round pick for next year? Like, what are the Packers going to do? Say no? They're just going to hold on to this guy? It just made no sense to me. So, fine. The Packers wanted the 13th pick. The Jets agreed to that on the final day to make the trade happen. That's fine. I'm okay with the pick swap. It means almost nothing to me. If the Jets are giving up 13 for 15, it means they probably think they could either get who they want at 15 or they were planning on trading anyway. So fine. Trading the second rounder this year doesn't bother me. It's essentially trading Elijah Moore. He didn't want to be here. So fine. But next year, a number one for 65% of the snaps, Brent? I mean, legit, the guy could go down with an injury, like a normal injury, a Lamar Jackson type injury. And you're still giving up the number one pick next year, and you likely don't have Rodgers. I shouldn't say the number one, the first round pick. So that's where it feels like a little bit of a fleecing to me. But at the same time, Brent, the Jets essentially traded for Aaron Rodgers by giving him Elijah Moore and next year's first or second. And that doesn't seem like a lot. And the bottom line here, I guess, is that if the goal is to get to the Super Bowl, they couldn't without the guy, and now they have the opportunity.
Yeah, I don't understand some of the angst. I've seen this both sides. I've seen some people be like, how can you even argue with this? And I agree with that sentiment more than, hey, they got fleeced or whatever it is. Like, I mean, what was Kasey saying in the commercial? Like, how do you feel about it, Kasey?
He was just laughing at me.
I was laughing at him. I think it's funny that he's in this distress, but he's going to have to root for the Arizona Cardinals anyway, since he said if Aaron Rodgers...
The Cardinals?
No.
Okay.
The official decision will be made after the draft, and I figure out who made the worst decisions. So, here's the thing. I agree with you that they didn't have a lot of leverage because, they had to either pay him or send him to the Jets. But, like, the Jets, they made their own bed here. You know what I'm saying? The Packers, they made their own bed here. Like, the Packers weren't going to pay him, and it was all – and when you got the player coming out saying, I'm going to play for the Jets or I'm not, well, who's going to trade for him then? Because, like, he says he's 90% retired, and if you try to swoop in on the deal and get Aaron Rodgers if you're, I don't know, Tennessee, just pick a team, whatever, like – you can't give up anything for that because you got to pay $60 and you're not sure if he's going to play for you. So,
and regarding what you're saying, Case, after the rumors came out about the Niners and then the Titans being rumored to be destinations for Rodgers came out and said, I'm not going to either one of those teams.
Yeah. So, I think it was just a bad negotiating tactic from the get-go. But, the Jets have their best chance to win since I've been alive.
Let me add one more piece of this puzzle, guys. If Lamar Jackson, during our conversations about the Jets, hey, why don't they make a run at Lamar Jackson? And for the future of the organization, right, for the big picture of the organization, there might have been some logic in that for multiple teams like the Jets. But if you say, hey, good chance with a team that's built right now from a defensive standpoint, you got a running back going into year two, you got some of these young pieces, you got a head coach and now a GM that, the clock is ticking a little bit. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is a way better right now piece than even Lamar Jackson, don't you think?
No, I don't actually. I actually think that's way wrong. And quite frankly, if you're giving up this year's first-round pick and next year's first-round pick, then where the hell were you on Lamar?
So it's not just a little wrong, it's way wrong.
No, I couldn't disagree with that
Well, you're
anymore.
not giving up this year's first. No, that's different. You're not giving up this year's first-round pick. You traded 2 spots.
You're right.
You really didn't give up any. You're giving up potentially next year's first-round pick. So there is a difference there. You're giving up 2
it's a
for
near
Lamar.
lock outside of an injury.
And it's 5 years worth of commitment to Lamar. But again, I'm asking in the right now. Like, Lamar Jackson's never won a playoff game, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I think you're right. And I don't think he's ever had the tools to do so.
Here's the thing about the right now and why I think I'm going with Brent. Because, my man's just won 2 MVPs. Now, granted, last year was not great. But I think you could look at that and say he was banged up a little bit with the thumb. Who knows where he was mentally, right? That whole thing. But it appears like he wants to be in New York. And if the thumb is a thing, and I understand that time does catch up with you, but you look at the Tom Brady example, you're like, if he takes care of his body, which we know he does some crazy things, but if he comes in with the healthy thumb, with the weapons that desperately want to play for this man, they all change their Twitter pictures to pictures of him.
Everyone's excited.
In the immediate.
And that matters.
In the 1 year immediate, I think they're better off. Well, but the 2-year immediate, no, because I don't think he plays again.
Yeah, you think it's just a one-and-done type of thing.
I think everybody
there's a couple
does.
Years here.
Really?
Yeah, I do. I think it's a 2-year thing.
He said 90% retired.
Man, I don't buy it. I don't think he knows.
He's going to hate the market. I know you think it's overblown with the media stuff. He's going to hate the market. He's not going to like the people. I think it's going to be a John Rocker situation here.
Yeah,
I don't think it's going to be pretty
He's played for the last 10 years and hasn't liked anybody, it seems like. He seems like the most...
What happened to John Rocker?
I feel like his relationship with the fans of Green Bay has been good, actually.
Well, I'm not saying the fans now. You're more hinting at the media and everybody else.
I'm talking
right?
just in general. I think he's
the
going to
fans are going to love Aaron Rodgers, man. It's the best quarterback you've had in 5 decades in New York. They are going to love Aaron Rodgers.
Okay. I don't think he's going to love him back.
But the crankiness could, from the back pages and everything else, we'll see if he can handle that.
Mm-hmm.
My point being, he's been cranky with just about everybody, it feels like, for the last decade.
Yeah.
From the outside.
Yeah, and I don't think they have the offensive line depth to protect this guy. You're not going to count on Aaron Rodgers to be as mobile as he was 15 years ago, much less a couple of years ago when he was winning MVP awards. The reality case is that, fine, if the thumb is a one-off, it's a one-off, but guys' bodies break down more often as they get older, not less often. And here we go 2 years later, entering his 41st year of life, and then possibly older as we move forward. This is not the Tampa Bay Bucks that Tom Brady went to. This is a much younger, much more inexperienced, a worse coached team than the Bucks were.
I agree with all of that, but I think also you can take into the fact that last season was the shortest season Aaron Rodgers has played in forever, because when's the last time the Packers didn't make the playoffs? So you did have that extra little bit of offseason. You did have that time where he said he wasn't really getting into his workouts, which you could look at as a bad thing. I'm going to look at it as he's 41 years old. He knows what he's doing. He doesn't need to work out as extensively as he does at 41. So I agree with your point that they're younger than Tampa was. Bruce Arians is a better coach, and I agree with that. But I think there's legs here for 1 year.
One more on top of it. You got a new quarterback with a new offensive coordinator and all new players around him, and any other player, not any other player, but most every other player is showing up in the offseason, getting together with his guys, learning each other, trying to build the chemistry, and you know he's not doing it. You know he's going to walk in there in late May or early June and go, hey, guys, finally the savior's here.
Nah, I bet you see it.
Okay.
I bet they go to him. I don't think he goes to New York.
I don't mind that.
I don't think they go to Bahamas. I bet you see these guys in California.
I certainly hope so. I certainly hope so, but I don't have faith it'll happen.
One last thing on the Rodgers front for now. What's the perfect situation for the New York Jets? They have Zach Wilson still there. So Rodgers, let's just say 2 years, quality play. I mean, I'm not going to predict the Super Bowl, but a contender the next couple of years, and then you take a shot again with Zach Wilson to see if he's matured and now has learned things from Rodgers, and you got the guy, and or you go and get in a different quarterback at that point. I know it's kind of a difficult thing to project.
Well, I think
but
that's
what do you think their big plan is?
Yeah, that's the plan. I'm convinced. They've told us as much, and maybe this is their version of a long-term smoke screen, the long con. But honestly, I don't see how else you can do it. Like Grant, they just created a whole ton of cap space today. Finalizing this deal to the tune of 40-something million.
Yeah, didn't they pay him like that much up front?
Well, they gave him bonus up front to create the cap space. So now...
Good day for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, but also good day for the Jets if they're going out and getting like a significant person to help upgrade this team, whether it be an edge rusher or even better offensive line help there. But I actually think they're going to use that money maybe to pay out Quinnen Williams a little bit. The reality is this, though. You're talking about a situation where their only plan is Zach Wilson. That's it. There's no one waiting in the wings. You can't use a high draft pick next year to do it because you just threw one away. So now if you're not picking quarterback anywhere near the first round if you have the opportunity to, not that you would with Aaron Rodgers under center, but I mean, you don't have your choice here. The plan isn't in your hands. Now you're waiting to see what happens with Zach Wilson, arguably the biggest bust in the history of NFL.
Ooh.
I mean, it's close.
It's close.
Another couple of years, we'll find out for sure.
He might be locked in the number one spot.
But, there is no plan B.
So, to answer the first part of your question, Brent, don't they have to win something, AFC included?
I mean, I guess, but...
They just wrote him a $45 million check.
For real.
They did, but there's 10 quarterbacks in the NFL in the AFC making $45 million.
Round one playoffs with an exit is a failure. It's a failure.
That's
you
fine,
gave up
but
too much.
Getting paid $45 million does not guarantee you're going to go to the Super Bowl. There's too many guys making it in the AFC.
No,
I'm with you. I agree.
I agree with you there. They're making it throughout a year. They just wrote him a check for $45 million to get the bonus money or to get the cap money down. Like they took on a huge investment here that like in 1 year is a lot, and they kind of put themselves in a situation where they were backed into this corner. Like we were talking about earlier, it was Aaron Rodgers or bust. There was no other plan. They had to get Aaron Rodgers. So when you put yourself in that kind of corner, and then Lamar becomes available, and I'm not saying you wanted Ryan Tannehill, but Ryan Tannehill becomes available. Derek Carr you didn't go for because you're dealing with Aaron Rodgers, Jimmy Garoppolo. All of these other things transpired in front of your face, and you're dancing with Aaron Rodgers. For all of that, for quarterbacks you could have had for 3, 4, 5 years at best, you now got a guy for 1 year. So I think they have to win something.
I got one better for you, Case. We were talking about Zach Wilson a little bit. Well, there is a quarterback on the Jets whose QBR, 39.3,
Stravler,
put him between Matt Ryan and Russell Wilson in 2022.
Stravler.
That's good company, right? Bro, that's Aaron Rodgers. That's Aaron Rodgers. So, like, yes, maybe it's a one-off, maybe it's an anomaly, but you don't know. And he could be falling off a cliff. You don't know. You don't know what his mental state is. You don't know. The Packers thought they knew, and they were happy to usher him out of there.
So, it's a good point. Do you think, then, that he should have got the pass that Brady got? Because Brady became a free agent and could have gone anywhere. Now, Rodgers was a different scenario, but he certainly got the pass. The age thing didn't appear to matter. Do you think that it shouldn't have been looked at that way, then?
I don't think you can tell yet. I didn't want it to be looked at that way because it was going to cost too much. And it did, in my opinion. It cost a lot more than the Jets should have been giving up. Any first rounder in there is, to me, a disastrous outcome. And
additional from the pick swap.
Yes, yes.
I think the only thing that you could make the case the Jets could have done differently that would have resulted in a better chance to win right now would be the argument of Lamar Jackson. Outside of that, I don't know how you could get any better than what you got.
I mean, I don't know that you get better
for 20.
Like if
for right now.
If Aaron Rodgers is playing at an all-pro level, then you're right. But
he
you
doesn't
can't
have to play at an all-pro level with the way they're built, man. Like that's I don't think that's true.
You didn't bring Aaron Rodgers here at $40-something million today just so he could be a game manager.
Well, I mean, all-pro levels.
Could have got Jimmy G for that.
Yeah,
$30 million.
A different kind of game manager. Again, Tom Brady, even when these last couple of years when he was doing well with Tampa, wasn't necessarily at the height of his career in terms of performance. But it was a good fit, mesh playing well enough. He wasn't the league MVP.
He did throw for 40-something touchdowns.
I get it. Like, listen, and Rodgers might too, and he might not be carrying them to the degree that he had to carry everything in Green Bay.
Listen, if Rodgers throws for 40 touchdowns, I don't really care what else happens. Chances are that's a great year.
Yeah, and I think he has the ability to do it. Now, it's a little bit different setup. Now, maybe it's not 40 the number because they're probably they're not as offensively explosive.
No, not even close, which is
Brady and the Bucs.
Part of the reason why I didn't want the trade to begin with, because now you gave up all this stuff. Now you paid all the goods, you emptied the pantry, and you're still like the fourth best, if not worse, in the AFC.
Yeah, but it puts him right in the mix, man. My point being, like, again, Lamar Jackson's the only move you could make this offseason to give yourself a chance.
I'll agree with that.
And all you really did was give up a first-round potentially, but really a second-round pick as it sits right now, next year. That's what you did. Like, why is that a lot? To put yourself in the mix. Like, guaranteed. You're guaranteed in the mix because Aaron Rodgers is still good enough to be in the mix. Your defense is in the mix. You're building around it. You think you have a good coach. Like, you're in the mix. Lamar Jackson's the only guy that you could sit here and tell me and argue that would be a better move. So,
now, I'm not arguing a better move.
The Jets made it as good a move as they could have made, given their circumstance. They made their own bed with Zach Wilson, absolutely. But if you're going to try to rectify it, you're going to try to fix it, this was really the best thing they could do.
You're arguing two different things. You couldn't,
I don't think so.
You couldn't do better than Aaron Rodgers is talking about a ceiling on what the team can do next year. The deal being good, to me at least, talks about the value and includes long-term planning. And the reality is here, as an organization, the Jets left themselves in a worse position past 2023 than they were prior to Aaron Rodgers. And that is what this guy is, a one-year rental.
And I don't buy that, though. I think he's a 2-year guy. And I think after that, then you got to circle the wagons a little bit and figure out. But you still have a lot of young talent on that roster, and maybe you have your quarterback getting a second shot that works out. Now that might not be the answer.
My quarterback.
But hey, I want to talk about Kasey's article real quick.
Okay. Oh, okay.
I guess we'll wait till the break.
Yeah. I mean, it is in tweets. We can get to it. We can get to it. I put it up first.
I tried like that was like a quick.
You did.
Fleece of the Jets turned into 18 minutes on Aaron Rodgers.
That
was your fault, both of you guys.
Well, it was, first of all, it was an intriguing conversation.
I just think it's funny Brent is I think it's funny Brent is insisting on getting to your article out of fear of what you'll do if we don't.
It's the Udonis Haslem effect.
Yes.
Listen, Haslem was a great bit. We should have got to it. It's dead. It doesn't matter. It's been retired for a very long time. But I like that Brent's now like, you know what? This or he's ready to cook me because he doesn't like what he read.
You already got cooked. That's why I want to bring it up.
I didn't get cooked. Me and Kemp are on the same. Kemp's
Bobby
fine.
Kemp.
He's fine. He likes it. He sees I'm cooking.
BK all day.
We'll talk about the article, I think,
Maybe.
when we come back.
We'll see.
ESPN 690. Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp, by the way, lost earlier today. They will be back at it tomorrow right here on ESPN 690 with 650 coverage, 7:05 first pitch on Wednesday.
Brent and Friends is sponsored by Best Bet, now open in St. Augustine.
ESPN 690 wants to pay your bills. We'll have 5 chances every weekday to win $1,000. All you have to do is enter the correct keyword at ESPN690.com to be eligible to win. This is a nationwide contest. Message and data rates apply. ESPN 690 pays your bills. Sponsored by the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. Weekdays at 8 a.m., 10 a.m., noon, 2, and 5 p.m. Tune in to win from ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
Right now, American Window Products is offering the newest features in window technology with Ultra Dual Low E glass and insulated vinyl frames with magnet weather stripping on windows for an airtight seal to help reduce your energy usage, all at an affordable price. This exclusive offer is for a limited time, so act now to save big with 12 months zero interest financing. Schedule a free estimate at AmericanWindowProducts.com. American Window Products, the window professionals.
Financing at time of sale for new orders only.
As the seasons change, one thing remains the same. Jacksonville and all of Northeast Florida are fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks. If you spot ESPN 690 anywhere in the community, come hang with us and grab an ice-cold Celsius.
I'm Clayton Bromberg, the president of Underwoods. If you're interested in buying a fine quality diamond, but might start with a smaller diamond and then over time grow that to a larger size diamond, at Underwoods we have a way to do that. And we've been doing it for more than 50 years. We call it Grow a Diamond, and here's how it works. When a customer buys an Underwood engagement ring, solitaire diamond pendant, or a pair of ear studs, we guarantee they get the price they paid for it on the purchase of any bigger diamond. Now, a lot of stores would say, big deal, we do that too, but here's the Underwood difference. We guarantee you get what you paid when you trade in your Underwood diamond, even if you're only trading up by $1. It's not that you have to trade up 2 for 1 like most jewelers ask. We've done this with thousands of customers through the years, so if you're interested in growing a diamond, come by and see us at Underwoods in San Marco, Avondale, or the shops of Ponte Vedra.
Rich Jones here. If you're an investor who's interested in doing well while doing good, getting solid returns on your investments while making a positive impact, consider investment funds with DLP Capital. Here's Don Winter, CEO of DLP Real Estate Capital, to tell you more.
With the current housing shortage in the U.S., investing in real estate, especially workforce housing, is one of the safest and most reliable places to invest. We invest in affordable housing for hardworking people and generate amazing returns for each of our investors.
To get your investor's guide and find out more, dial ** Invest from your cell phone or visit highyieldreturns.net.
This message is sponsored by the Florida A&M University Medical Marijuana Education and Research Initiative, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
Mary on Demand is live. Start your marijuana education journey today and learn more with Mary on Demand. Take the self-guided education series at your own pace. You'll decide what you'd like to learn and when. Visit mary.famu.edu to learn more. That's mmeri.famu.edu. Mary, educate, learn, talk.
you and your children can find safety. Hubbard House offers free, confidential shelter and support for local survivors of domestic violence. Learn more at hubbardhouse.org.
Finding great people to hire can be like trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Their powerful matching technology delivers so many qualified candidates, it's like finding a needle in a needle stack. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. For less hay and more needles, head to ZipRecruiter.
And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Are you kidding me? Gas prices are up again? Somebody has to do something.
Well, someone did. That's why I use Upside.
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app that pays you back real money for every gallon of gas or diesel you buy. I just earned 25 cents back on every gallon of this tank.
So the Upside app is free and you actually get cash back every time you use it? No strings attached?
Yep, it's awesome. Check it out. It only takes a couple of minutes to sign up.
Instead of just watching your dollars go into your tank, start putting money back into your wallet with the free app from Upside. With the price of gas today, it's big news and big money. To cash out of your Upside cash, just transfer it to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card. Upside users have already earned over $200 million. Now it's your turn. Download the free Upside app and get cash back on every gallon of gas. Use promo code ESPN10 for an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first fill-up. That's code ESPN10. Use code ESPN10 for an extra 25 cents per gallon back in your first fill-up. Cashback's not available in gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
When I started in '98, it was a different mentality for first responders.
I've seen a lot of people struggle after retirement, still fighting the same demons that they had on the job.
The ability to reach out to a peer support program is huge.
I've done your job. I know the burden you carry. You've saved other people. Let us save you at this time.
It only takes a couple seconds to dial 3 numbers.
First responders, call 211 or visit stayfitforduty.org.
Hey everybody, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. There's a good chance you have a smart speaker, so use it with ESPN 690. Stay up to date on the Jags and all things sports by telling Alexa or Google to play ESPN 690. It's as easy as that. Make sure you listen weekdays 3 until 6 p.m. on ESPN 690.
Hey, welcome back, Brent Friends on ESPN 690. Go to ESPN690.com and check out Kasey's brand new article about the draft. And here we go. We're getting to it.
Okay, good. Fade the music down.
This is what I would do, says Kasey Kurtz.
Just to clarify, I don't think they will pick any of these people.
And can I tell you, can we just stop there for a second, Brent?
Sure,
because we're talking about a generational difference in people. Would you ever, Brent, write an article about yourself when you're trying to write about football or the Jaguars or something else? Like, you putting yourself in that title?
I don't know if I follow what you mean.
He's making the Jaguars article about himself.
Yes, what I would do.
It's the Kasey show.
That's kind of what people do now.
Yeah,
though, right?
It's a Gen Z thing. It's what I just said to you. It's a generational thing.
I don't want people to get confused because if you read this and you're like, they're not doing this. And I'm like, I know. This is what I would do because I'm a visionary.
Yeah, see, let me tell you about you, okay? One time, I gave tickets to a member of the media to go to one of our festivals. And this lady wrote an article.
Well, me.
And in the article, she mentioned my radio station 0 times. But she wrote the word I 56 times.
I believe remember that number? True.
I counted it and wrote her an angry email about it.
Nice.
I'm going to write you that same email.
She took your event and made it hers.
She did. And I told her it's not all about you. That's not why you got the free ticket, so you can have an experience. So you can report on the festival you saw and tell everyone else how great it was so that they would go too. Unbelievable. Go ahead, Case. Tell me more about yourself.
Oh, no. Also, listen to Aaron, since we should get this in, 96.9 Eagle every morning.
He really needs it.
These days, I do, actually.
He really needs you.
Thanks for the help, guys.
Especially if you have, I don't know, can I say the meter on the radio? Can I tell people?
We're not. Nope. Don't do it.
Okay.
Case,
Brent Martineau. We don't do those. Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, and author extraordinaire about himself.
Okay.
Kasey Kurtz on ESPN690.com. All right, so with the 24th pick in the draft, you love Brian Branch.
It just makes too much sense.
It does make so much sense, Case.
I don't think we're going to find ourselves in a Fitz and Harry scenario where you got Van Ness and you got Banks and you got all these people. So I'm being realistic about it. And it again, I put it in there. It's not sexy, not really sexy, but this guy didn't miss a tackle at Alabama.
I mean, it's not sexy. It's not like punter.
Yeah, but
he's versatile. He can play corner. He can play safety. I like this pick a lot.
Yeah, he's a very good football player, but he's not 7 interception guy.
Okay.
He's not Jalen Ramsey.
I got what
you know what I mean? Like, you're not getting that. You are getting, though, a super quality player that fills their biggest need. And when they run out there, if they run out there as currently constructed, they have edge rushers. We don't know how great they're going to perform. They exist.
Yep.
They have a hole at that position, and you fill that spot immediately. He can, I think, be physical with tight ends. Now, Kelsey's a whole different problem, so I'm saying like other tight ends around the league.
Right.
And he can, like you said, safety, outside corner potentially in the future. It just makes too much sense. Too much sense if he's still there. Because now I'm seeing he's getting picked earlier in some of these other mocks, so a little concerned about him being there. But if he's there, I can't imagine they don't pick him.
Okay, I read an article today about Brian Branch because I was doing my homework, of course, for the Fitz and
For the
Harry
other
mock
show,
draft.
yeah.
Yeah.
Not for this show.
Obviously, yes.
And,
the show you didn't ask our advice on.
And I read an article about Brian Branch, and it starts or whatever. I don't know what it was, but it was,
Did it have the word "I" in the title?
It did not.
Okay,
and it said, small, didn't perform well at the combine, but I like him to Jacksonville. Like, whoa, okie dokie. Like, I'm supposed to latch on to this
ringing
stuff?
endorsement.
Like,
yeah.
this is great.
Yeah.
Sounds like we're settling here. Now, what they did say, and what I didn't say there, is this guy instinctually really good player, and so that gives him a lot of position versatility. His IQ probably off the charts good. He plays faster, bigger than he probably is. One of those kind of guys, which I really like those kind of guys because I think they're easier to kind of invest in because you know what you're going to get from them. Like, those guys are probably going to do all right. Now, it's a fast league. It's a big league. If you can't measure up, yet you're off the charts IQ, well, that's a different story. But this guy, he's smaller. It doesn't mean he doesn't have physical traits that can play in the NFL. What is he, $190 or something, I think? And so you said it, didn't miss a tackle, knows where he's supposed to be at all times. You know how problems get made in the NFL? Guys that don't know where they're supposed to be.
We saw Devin Lloyd.
No, that's real. I'm not. Like, that's not a tongue-in-cheek thing. If you go back to problems on defense especially, it's not doing what you're supposed to be doing, your assignment. And it sounds like this is a guy that would do everything that he's supposed to be doing. Now, he's not this bigger, faster, stronger, crazy athlete guy that we fall in love with in the draft process. So that part's interesting to me.
I go back to also Rasheen when he was on in the fall saying that position has to be your smartest player on the field. And, I mean, this guy apparently is extremely smart when it comes to football, but in just life as well. So you have that guy, but also we know Darius Williams can do it. So you've got two guys now that are intelligent enough, football IQ enough to play that position, I believe, at a high level, and that can only be a good thing if you're adding somebody else who you think is really smart on the field.
Now, we didn't talk at all about this, but I like what you put at the bottom of that part of this article on ESPN690.com. You say, I believe there's a very real chance that Branch is gone by 24. And I'm not sure I believe as much of that as you do. But I think that would leave one of the Lucas Van Ness, Nolan Smith, or Miles Murphy available at 24. Out of the three, I'd like to take Van Ness, but any will do if Branch is gone. So pretty interesting that you put that. So Branch, Van Ness could fall in that category that, hey, I'll take either one. And kind of like we were saying earlier when I had that possibility or scenario with Deontay Banks still being available.
Case, what's your preference out of the three big guys?
Van Ness.
Because of the hands.
I think a lot of people would vote Nolan Smith.
I like Nolan Smith. He's a fast dude, but I would prefer Van Ness.
Nolan Smith is interesting because it would be exactly what they did last year. Freaky athlete, very limited college production. Same school helps that scenario.
If, the defense works out, you may have one of the faster defenses in the league.
Yes, that is true. But, I mean, that's why I think it's even, more possible if he's there because it works in tune with what they did last year. And then you're like, well, they're loading up on Georgia Bulldogs, which isn't a bad thing.
Yeah, that's not usually a bad thing. More of Kasey's article, including why he's giving up on Trevor Lawrence already briefly into his career. Next, Football at 5 on ESPN 690.
Discover how good your water can be with the new Connecticut softener and drinking water system. Connecticut's twin tank non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available, and their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. This month, you can get 50% off a Connecticut K5 drinking water system with a purchase of a Connecticut Premier Series softener. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and provide solutions that are right for you and your family. Imagine having clean, clear, purified water at your home. No more plastic bottles, no more waste, just great tasting, purified water that you can trust. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. Financing options available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1428211.
Beards Diamonds has been busy this spring, getting their showcases ready for the largest inventory of wedding bands in North Florida.
So if you're getting married soon or want to upgrade your bands, don't miss Beards Diamonds' incredible buy one, get one wedding band sale.
Happening the entire month of April and only at Beards Diamonds.
All wedding bands are buy one, get one free.
Save thousands.
Plus, all stackables, all right-hand rings, all eternity bands, and more are buy one, get one free.
See hundreds of the latest styles from famous designers at beardsdiamonds.com.
It's the largest selection of wedding bands in North Florida at the guaranteed lowest price.
Couples wait for this sale all year.
Buy any wedding band and get the other band free.
Now you can go bigger and better with the band she's always dreamed of during Beard's Buy One, Get One sale. Happening the entire month of April. Don't buy anywhere until you shop Beards Diamonds.
At the St. John's Town Center or at beardsdiamonds.com.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel V Pro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
Yes, we do have availability. Those dates for how many guests?
Andrea's Boutique Hotel is the destination to tie the knot.
Oh, you want the whole property?
She needs an assistant to catch the bookings bouquets.
249 guests, huh? Oh, and 3 dogs.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. This just in, Kings guard De'Aaron Fox said he plans to play in Game 5 of their first-round NBA playoff series against the Warriors tomorrow, despite a fractured index finger. As the Jets get ready for the Aaron Rodgers era to begin, GM Joe Douglas discussed the historic trade that brought the legendary quarterback to the franchise, said they're excited to have Rodgers, also defended the significant compensation given to Green Bay in the deal, said they are comfortable with how that deal is shaped. The Packers certainly did well for themselves in their return as they move on to Jordan Love, believes our Keyshawn Johnson.
This is good. The Packers can now turn their focus to trying to build around Jordan Love for the future, picking up somebody in this year's draft, and if he's good enough, they pick up his 5th-year option. If he's good enough, next year they got enough picks to go back in there and build around him some more.
Key of Keyshawn, J-Will, and Max. The NHL suspended Avalanche star defenseman Cale Makar 1 game for his hit on Seattle forward Jared McCann in Game 4 last night of that first-round Stanley Cup playoff series. McCann is out at least for Game 5 tomorrow night.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. They're close, convenient, and have the parts you need fast, along with excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
Now, your chance to win $1,000 as ESPN 690 wants to pay your bills. Sponsored by the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp.
Enter the word love at ESPN690.com. That's LOVE. by 15 past the hour.
Your next chance to win $1,000 and have ESPN 690 pay your bills happens tomorrow morning at 8. This is a nationwide contest. Message and data rates apply.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 690 and Action Sports Shacks presents Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau.
We're going to have to show a little more patience than the year 2 pom-pom people.
Kasey Kurtz.
Yo! Well, what are we doing, bro? Come on!
And Aaron Schachter.
I'm all in favor of these two showing their love, really celebrating their relationship.
Get him! Get him! Get him! Hit him! Hit him! Yeah! Boom! Jack! Boom! Yeah! Boom! Jack! Boom! This is Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau, Kasey Kurtz, and Aaron Schachter on Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. ESPN 690.
Hey, football at 5 we go. Brent Martineau, Kasey Kurtz, Aaron Schachter here on a Tuesday. We're just a couple of days away from the NFL Draft. We'll have our Draft Night Duval special on the TV side of things, 7 o'clock on Fox 30. Got some fun stuff lined up for that show. We'll be there in the afternoon with Brent and Friends. Leading up, we'll have some conversation about what the Jags might do later that evening. And, of course, you can listen to the draft on ESPN 690 as well and stream it on ESPN 690.com. We've been taking a look at an article that Kasey wrote, and all kidding aside, I like the fact that there's something to on ESPN690.com to pull apart.
Somebody's got to do it.
Love it, hate it. That's okay. And so, first pick was Brian Branch. We just talked about it. Second one, I don't even think we have to talk about this much anymore, but you have him trading up to get your guy Darnell Washington. Like this, I don't even know if we can take this as real-life stuff because you're so in love with Darnell Washington that it didn't matter if it costs Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
The Jags were going to get him in some way, shape, or form.
Making it fit. Yeah.
I thought this was very fair. I traded with the Packers who just got this pick. You give them a couple of picks, third rounder next year, things are fine. It's good.
Yes.
As long as you make it work.
At least you do admit that you like talking about Darnell Washington.
I love it. It's the best every day. And you can't deny he doesn't fill a need.
And hey, here's the deal. The one thing that's interesting about Darnell Washington, I've seen a lot of mock drafts that are now multiple round mock drafts that kind of look that he might slip into the early stages of that second round.
Yeah.
I think that's a very reasonable possibility.
Yeah, the number, it feels like, because, I didn't just write things and pick random numbers. Brent, I looked at articles. I was like, where's this man going? And it looks like 40, you're not getting past 40, is my guess.
All right, because yesterday you were like, he's the first or second tight end off the board.
Yeah, I still feel, listen, if you want to be a visionary, if you want to win the Super Bowl, you pick this man first tight end off the board.
Interesting.
But, all these other GMs that just don't see it the way I see it, it's probably about the 40s.
Okay.
Still goes before Mayer, though. Feel good about that.
So Mayer at 41.
Yes.
Okay.
Starts the run.
Then you get an early, well, not early, but an 88th pick. You take a guard, an interior lineman for the Jacksonville Jaguars, Chandler Zavala from NC State.
Like Chandler.
Why?
I mean, the main reason is he didn't give up a sack ever.
That's always a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much as locked down as you get. And this is where, the questions start to come in because I don't want to spoil it, if you haven't read the article. But you may have noticed so far we've gone DB, tight end, guard. So we're kind of missing out on that one position. I don't want to spoil it. But there's so much value with this guy if he's still there at 88.
You're talking about Zavala.
Zavala, yeah. No sacks, 0 sacks allowed in his career at the left guard position. Left guard is a position you're looking to fill, so you don't have to move him, worry about that type of thing. He played right, but we need him to play on the left. No, he's a left guard the whole time. He's a massive human being.
6'4", 316.
Just a big person.
Be big.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, this is just, it makes too much sense, and the value you could get for this guy who did not play a lot of high school football, only 1 year, played small school, then transferred to the ACC off of
6 years in college.
Yeah, but he started at Fairmount State.
Mm-hmm.
So, not a lot of high-level football. Gets thrown into high-level football at NC State, holds up fantastically. So, I think you do what they did with Luke Fortner. You find that guy that you put next to him. You don't have to pick Osiris Torrance in the first round. You could pick this guy in the third round, hopefully. And then you're set on that offensive line for years. So, I think there's so much value in that versus somebody that may be able to rush the passer at that position, at that pick.
Do the Jags need interior line in this draft? I mean, that's where you're going here with the guard. So obviously you would say, yeah, that's a good fit. Was this kind of a value pick at that time? Because if you look at the offensive line, in my opinion, I feel like they need swing tackle more than they need guard, unless you're plugging and playing a guy that's going to be there for the next, 5 years.
I think they need that guy. I think I think it's more important than the swing tackle because the value's there, but also that's a position that we're not sure about because of the Ben Barch thing that we've talked about coming off the injury, and they're not sure about his health for training camp. And if you don't pick O'Cyrus Torrence in the first round, well, you do have a gaping hole there, and you feel good about Shatley. The opportunity presents itself, but it's just easier to find a long-term solution if you can find it right there.
Yeah. Again, I don't know if I see that happening at pick 88. I could see it more happening at pick like 24 or trading back into the second round and getting Torrance or up. But that's just because he's been on our radar all the time. And this is where, again, I go back to saying this, 24, whether it's a guy like Van Ness that slips to you or maybe a Deonte Banks or maybe it's a Torrance that you feel like there's a heck of a value, you can find really good value in those spots. And that become guys that are Pro Bowlers and All-Pros for years and years to come and eventually Hall of Famers, Is that one of these kind of drafts where the Jags find it? You got to get lucky there. You got to evaluate it right there. And I think what comes to my mind a lot is when you see those kind of picks, a lot of the teams that pick those guys at 24, 26, 28, that part of the draft, they didn't necessarily need that position. They just said, that's a hell of a football player, and we're adding him to our team. And now we got him for a decade. So to your point about guard, I don't look at the Jags and say they need guard. I really don't. Honestly, Tyler Shatley did fine for me. I'm not saying you can't improve it. Ben Barch, I think, is going to be their guy. I have some faith in that. But it did red flag me a bit here in what I heard last week, too, that he's not even going to be ready in time for camp. So I understand it. I don't feel interior offensive linemen as strongly as maybe you do or some others do. With the 121st, go ahead.
I was actually going to say with the Zavala pick, just in case, I'm assuming case you did your due diligence on the research when you scouted and vetted this pick for the franchise. But I do want to remind you, he had a knee injury to start off his college career and then back surgery in 2021. Back problems are kind of degenerative sometimes.
Yeah, but you know what they say? Not going to have 2 back surgeries. Likely.
In this ESPN690.com article Kasey wrote, he's got a running back and a receiver later on in the draft. Also has a defensive tackle coming up in that 4th round with the first pick. But the most interesting one of all is Dorian Thompson-Robinson, also in the or is this a 5th round by this time?
It's early 5th. Had to trade up to get him.
Had to trade. So 5th round pick.
Love trading up to get these.
Yeah, you got some action going. I like that.
Got some action.
And where's the sense of quarterback Dorian Thompson-Robinson out of UCLA for the Jacksonville Jaguars? Why?
Okay, so I don't know if you've seen this guy play football. He's goated.
He's good.
He's exactly what the NFL is. He's a smaller Jalen Hurts, not as physical, can still run the football. But they play similar styles. He was fantastic for UCLA. He took them up against USC and those teams that were good out west, Utah, and fought shot for shot with them. He had an incredible season, 39 total touchdowns. He's great. But they have Trevor Lawrence. I get that. Mm-hmm. But as I wrote in here, ask the 49ers how important it was to have backups last year. Ask the Jets and the Dolphins what their season looked like if you had a real backup. This guy's legit. And the way that I see it is he's never going to play for the Jags, except for in my scenario where he plays in Week 18 when you're sitting Trevor Lawrence. But best case scenario, it's a Gardner Minshew situation where you have a sought-after backup, and knock on all of the wood that exists, if something does happen and you need your backup quarterback, I want to see this guy play football. So, yeah, you got to give up a couple of picks, but, what are the odds they're drafting Hall of Famers with 6th and 5th round picks for the next couple of years?
2 thoughts I had when I saw this. Number one, wouldn't you rather draft a backup if you're sure he's going to be your backup for however long it's going to be because Trevor's so young? Wouldn't you rather draft a backup who could run a similar offense to what the Jaguars run? UCLA didn't run this kind of offense, right? Weren't they more RPO-style running gun?
Yeah, it's fair. But I think I weighed that with I think this guy's supremely talented.
Okay. And then the second thing I've got there is how is he going to be a hotly sought-after backup if he never sees the field? Like, at least Gardner had some time there on the field.
I think, I think that in my scenario that the Jags are good, he will play at the end of the season.
One game. A year.
Yeah, I get that. But he's a guy that you look at and you're like, hey, this is a guy that can play. And if he's available, if somebody gets hurt in training camp, we need to call somebody. We know this guy can compete. And you go back to what he did at college, you're like, he's talented. And the way that the league is going, if Brent will have it this way, he's getting rid of all the Matt Ryan, Jimmy G
all
statue players.
They're all gone.
And this is a guy that does what people want to do in the NFL now. So I don't even know if he gets to 140. I think someone's going to pick him and not play him right away, of course, because there's only so many openings for that. But this is a guy that's going to play. I have a feeling. But hopefully he doesn't because he's in Jacksonville and he sits behind Trevor.
ESPN690.com for more of what Kasey Kurtz thinks could happen if he were the GM of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
We'd be winning.
This is what he would do. Or wasting a pick on a quarterback that will play one game a year.
And he's goated. What is the problem?
Brent, it will be the best game of the year.
Yeah, it will be very entertaining.
And by the way, just to finish off the tease, didn't pick an edge rusher the whole time.
Yeah,
the whole draft.
Listen, the one thing about this, there are veterans out there still, right? Isn't Frank Clark still out there?
Yeah, I don't think he signed with anybody.
So, as somebody brought up today, like Yannick, they just texted us or tweeted us.
Jadeveon Clowney's still out there?
Jan's still out there. Clowney's still out there. So, yeah, I think. And by the way, that stat boy says, tell Kasey if Trevor gets hurt, they're not playing a rookie.
Yeah, they are. Only if it's DTR, though. If it's somebody else, they ain't. Listen, Brett, who you feel better with? The guy that's mobile or Beathard?
That is true. I do like the mobile guy.
Mm-hmm.
But I would like a guy that's been in the league for 5-6 years.
Yeah.
His brother plays country.
Especially if the Jaguars are playing for something, right? Like, you don't want to throw Dorian Thompson in there on a playoff run.
Get him in there. Like this kid. Like him a lot.
I like that you find value in the backup quarterback, though. I can appreciate that.
Thank you.
You can
Come on, somebody. Dolphins would love to have this guy.
Dolphins have a great backup.
If they had a pick.
That's fair. I can't pick them.
They got Mike White.
Hey, get us to some tweets, Aaron Schachter. What you got?
Let's start with where we started. The big news of the day. Let's talk about Will Levis for a second. Will Levis, early this morning, late last night, odds go to number 1 overall at the 2023 NFL Draft. An hour before I pulled this tweet, he was plus 4,000, a 40-1, as Brent likes to say. And then when I pulled the tweet, he was 4-1. So
Crazy.
Something had happened. And we believe this was just Reddit's influence. Do you think teams had anything to do with it, though? Like, who benefits from inside the NFL draft? Outside of Vegas and bookmakers, does anyone in the draft process benefit or not benefit from this? Because I'll tell you, a team we've heard absolutely nothing from. I mean, no info, no intel, no rumors, no buzz, is the Houston Texans.
Yeah. I haven't heard a thing about the Texans.
And they got 2 picks in the top 15. They could actually draft 2 quarterbacks, Case.
They could. To your point. For that Week 18 game.
For the Week 18 game.
Listen, it's a Hannah Montana situation. You get the best of both worlds, baby.
Hannah Montana situation.
The Will Levis thing is fascinating. I started the show on a rant. I'm not as high energy about it right now. I'm over it.
You were pretty
I'm not
worked
doing
up.
the rant again. I was worked up about Reddit getting Vegas. Come on, Vegas. You're better than that. Like, that's what I feel like.
Yeah, a little bit.
You set the table, not Reddit sets the table, all right?
Fair.
But it's the Will Levis stuff is fascinating. It shows you how crazy the draft stuff can get. And what I think is fascinating is what if it's right? That's why this stuff works this time of year. Because even after you rip it to shreds, you have to circle back and be like, well, what if they were right? Which would change everything, and I think make everybody look a fool the entire 3-month, 4-month process because nobody's mentioned this until 2 days prior. So we will find out. The story will write itself. How many smoke screens were out there in this draft process, and I think that's something that we should pay off on Friday or Monday or whatever it is. We should go back and look at some of these things that were said and where does it fit, because the smoke screens feel heavy this year.
Do you think that Houston is like sure of what they're doing at that 2 spot? I don't think they know yet.
No, they know.
I don't believe it.
Yeah, they know.
Well,
I don't believe it.
I think they have multiple different plans because now, like, I'm sure they're on Reddit. So, like, they're seeing this and they're like, wait a minute. What if we can get Bryce Young here?
What if we are picking Will Levis?
Yeah, exactly.
No, I don't believe they know what they're doing. And I get, Brent, I get why you would say that way. It makes total sense that a billion-dollar business would have a plan for what they want to do in 5 days when a big decision needs to be made. But I'm looking at this going, everyone wanted Bryce Young. And up until a couple of weeks ago, lots of people wanted C.J. Stroud. But we never really heard the Texans married to C.J. Stroud. We heard the Panthers were hot to trot on him. We heard Josh McCown was all over him. But I never really heard DeMeco Ryans was over the moon about C.J. Stroud. And then suddenly it was really not over the moon. Then suddenly it was like they want nothing to do with this guy. Now they're looking at everybody but. And so I'm wondering if the Texans really know where they're going with it. I think they might be waiting for a dance partner.
No, I think they know where they're going with it. Here's the thing that fascinates me. I just tweeted this out. I think if Tyree Wilson is drafted, and he is the Vegas favorite, not influenced by Reddit, I think, to be the number 2 pick, which also, there's 2 things at work here. Why isn't it a quarterback, and why is it Tyree Wilson over Will Anderson, Jalen Carter, who we've heard about for the entire process until the last, 2 weeks maybe, that Tyree Wilson has really climbed boards in that respect. So I think there's a couple questions to ask. But I think the bigger thing here is you have a GM in Nick Caserio who is with the New England Patriots, who figures he comes in here and he cleans up the Houston mess. He's still a part of it, obviously, and now is tasked with trying to build this thing up. They hired DeMeco Ryans. I got to believe that if they go Tyree Wilson, then DeMeco Ryans has a lot of pull and power in this relationship. In Houston.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. As a matter of fact, that's what a lot of the analysts are at. This is from Sam Monson at PFF. Says Wilson tallied 50 total pressures last season, but doesn't have near the body of work that Anderson brings to the table. But 6'6", more than 270, Wilson brings a rare body type and size to the table that Anderson cannot match. Wilson's case was hurt by an injury, prevented him from working out and putting up numbers at the athletic potential, but there remains a growing sentiment that he could be the first defender drafted above Anderson, especially when it comes to DeMeco Ryans and the Houston Texans. Word on the street is that DeMeco is head over heels for Wilson.
Listen, I get falling in love with somebody, but this is one thing that I think the critics can I don't have an answer for the critics on Trayvon Walker on this front. The productivity there in college was minimal. Right? So how he was going to do in the NFL and the role that you put out there and how productive he was going to be compared to what he was doing and the different ways they were using him at Georgia compared to the way you wanted to use him, that was a little bit of a mystery. And let's be honest, if you go back over the last year, it didn't work to the degree the Jags hoped it would work. Yet I see all these write-ups and everything else about all these defensive guys in here. It's like, well, listen, this guy's got the body, he's got the skill set, he's got the this, he's got the that you can't pass him up in this spot, especially when you get deeper in the draft. Well, Tyree Wilson's a little bit of that. I'd rather have Will Anderson, who I know is productive, right? Like, I know this guy's made plays. And I think there should be maybe a little bit of a learning lesson from Houston on Tyree Wilson if you just look back at the Jags on Trayvon Walker. And I'm not even a guy I'm not giving up on the Trayvon Walker pick. In fact, I'm still a fan of it. I was a fan of it. So I'm not going to get off that train. But I think it would be interesting to see Houston do this. Go outside the box a little bit where the conventional wisdom is, hey, go get a quarterback. The other part of that, if you don't go get quarterback, then you got 2 guys right there in Jalen Carter and Will Anderson that look like can't-miss guys that are going to be productive, that their floor is pretty high. And instead they go to a guy like Tyree Wilson, they bring him into the fold, and it could be great. But if it's not, you really look bad in the whole process because you had safer plays than this one.
Yeah, it's a franchise that has shown that it is not apt to make a safe play in the draft.
Well, listen, I appreciate people swinging for the fence sometimes. You just better be right. And at the end of the day, like, listen, the Jags get a little fortunate. They've got Trevor Lawrence, and then they get the next number 1 pick. The bottom line is they had to get the Trevor one right. That was the quarterback one. Now, it really helps this organization if Trayvon becomes a stud this year and he's a stud for the next 5 years.
Sure.
Like, that obviously helps, and will be critical if he's not. But I think swinging for the fence is okay. You just gotta hit the fence, at least. Like you can't swing and miss.
Yeah, agreed.
And that you're bringing that into play with guys that are unproven as much as these other guys that are proven. The Jags did that last year. Houston might be doing that again, which would be very interesting. But I think bigger than that, this shows me the power structure is at the very least even. If not, D'Amico Ryan's worked out a situation in Houston where he's got a lot of say there.
Yeah, and I think the miss, by the way, on a Will Anderson potentially is compounded by the fact that you're also not swinging for a quarterback when you need one. And if C.J. Stroud happens to work out and you miss on Tyree Wilson, oh, that's a double-decker of pain right there. That'll end somebody's job.
What else you got before we hit a break?
Let's go to Spotrac. They're asking about different players who might be traded.
Just to be clear, this is not
night.
over the cap. No. This is Spotrac.
Yes.
Okay. Just checking.
The hardest name in
sports.
cap stuff to say.
I thought it was
Spotrac.
Whatever.
I only say Spo because Brent does. I do everything Brent does.
It's just definitely not Jason. That's all I want to say.
Who?
Yeah, exactly.
Who? Which NFL player is most likely to be traded at the 2023 draft? We'll break this up into categories because he's got like 15 names on here. Tell me which quarterback, guys, is most likely to be traded. You can even rank them 1 to 4. Lamar, Trey Lance, Ryan Tannehill, Zach Wilson. Most likely to be traded during the draft. Lamar, Trey Lance, Tannehill, and Zach Wilson.
I'll go Tannehill, Lance, Lamar, Zach Wilson.
Case?
Yeah, I do those, but Trey Lance first. Ryan
Really?
Tannehill second. Yeah.
I would put Tannehill first, then Lance, then Wilson. I don't think Lamar's going anywheres.
I don't, but
No
I also
way.
don't think Zach Wilson's going.
No, it's highly unlikely.
I
But
also,
it's more likely Zach Wilson gets thrown in on like a 5th-round deal than
That's-
Lamar going anywhere.
That's how I feel about Trey Lance.
You know what's crazy in that scenario is that the reason they're not going anywhere, those three, not Lamar, but the other three, is because nobody wants them.
No market.
And that's
How
the
crazy is
second and
that?
third pick from 2 years ago.
And a former Pro Bowler.
True.
Proven playoff entity.
And here's the other thing,
an
guys, and
MVP.
you guys have turned this, and I'm keeping score, but you guys didn't think Lamar Jackson was going to stay with Baltimore.
Not at all.
I still don't.
And it looks like he's staying in Baltimore.
For a couple of weeks now, I've said I think he's playing this year, and then it's over.
Yeah, we'll see. He doesn't play another game for the Ravens.
Wow, okay.
Sometimes you got to stand on it.
Let's move on to the next position group at running back. Derrick Henry, Austin Eckler, or Dalvin Cook? Or I should say rank those guys.
I feel good about this one. Austin Eckler first, clearly.
Mm-hmm.
Cook, and then Henry.
Oh, that's interesting. That's a tough one. Even thinking like Greg Coleman brought this up earlier. He's got a little beat on Minnesota, and I know Dalvin Cook's an interesting one. I'll go with Cook.
I say Cook first, too.
And then I'll go with
I go Cook.
I'll actually go Henry, then Eckler.
See,
I think Eckler's too important to Herbert and the Chargers.
But he
not
wants
to say
out.
Henry's not.
Like it's not the chart. Like Eckler wants out is why I think it's still possible.
But we haven't heard as much of that. I wonder if that's calmed down a bit.
Maybe, or maybe they're working out some deal. I just think Henry's too expensive to trade. Who's
think
taking it on?
I think the bold take is they go up and get a receiver and use Eckler in the first round.
Chargers.
The Chargers.
So they move up by trading Eckler.
And, whatever, pick swap or whatever. But
They may not even have to move up if they're fine with Quentin Johnston or somebody.
I don't think they are.
Last position group, and then we'll move away from it. DeAndre Hopkins, Jerry Jeudy, Ed Oliver, or Buda Baker? DeAndre Hopkins, Jerry Jeudy, Ed Oliver, or Buda Baker?
Oof.
D-Hop,
I'm gonna say D-Hop. I think Buda Baker, then D-Hop. Then who's my other ones?
Ed Oliver and Jerry Jeudy.
I'll go in that order. Judy's not getting traded.
I don't think Judy's getting traded. I put him last too, but I don't think Buda Baker's getting traded either. I think he's too expensive. Who's paying for him? Who's going out there and spending $15 million on a safety?
Hopkins, Jeudy, Baker, Oliver.
Wild. A lot
What's
of potential
interesting,
trades.
It actually makes more sense for Arizona to do it Kasey's way, right? To get Hopkins is aging. Buda Baker's still a young guy, so you can build her. If you can somehow find a way to remedy that situation,
Trade
you can build
Hopkins and
around.
use that money to pay him.
Yeah,
I don't think it's just money for Buda, though. I think he wants out.
He wants to actually try to win.
Yeah,
Shocking.
and they're not in a position to do it. But you can build around that piece. Like if I'm Arizona, I don't want to trade him. he's a piece.
Oh, yeah, a great one. And a great teammate. I know this because I'm an Arizona Cardinals expert. Why, Case?
You watch Hard Knocks, baby.
That's right. And I'm their new number one fan.
Number one fan.
Potentially.
Okay.
Potentially. We'll see.
We need a reveal show or something.
Yeah.
We'll take a break. A couple more tweets still to come. If you want to go play some golf and you don't want to pay full price, check out our Dream 18 card, Action Sports Shacks, dream18.com. Save hundreds of dollars. Golf's expensive right now, and the golf courses are packed, but you can get discounted prices on 9 area golf courses. You also get some free things with the Dream 18 card. Smoothie King is one of the free things. How about a smoothie from Smoothie King in the Jacksonville area? Dream 18 card, Action Sports Shacks, dream18.com.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
A few scattered showers into this evening. Partly cloudy skies overnight will drop to near 60 degrees. Partly sunny for you Wednesday. Again, a few widely scattered showers will develop, but plenty of dry hours, and highs reach the low 80s in the afternoon. From the CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jack's First Alert Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds.
Don't miss Beards Diamonds' incredible buy one, get one wedding band sale going on now.
Calling all poker players. Brace yourselves for an epic month of poker at Best Bet Orange Park this April. In honor of our 15th anniversary, we're giving away $15,000 in high-hand promotions on Saturday, April 15th. And that's not all. Our highly popular $400 no-limit Hold'em Greater Orange Park Open with a guaranteed prize pool of $40,000 is happening on April 22nd. Don't miss your chance to participate in these exciting events. For more information, visit bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
What defines a hero? Dedication, loyalty, courage. Every day at AMCO, we serve heroes. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. From complex transmissions to simple brake jobs with flexible financing and the extra safety precautions we need. The heroes we serve don't all wear uniforms. They're people like you. At AMCO, we're proud to serve all of you. AA MCO.
Money tight? We can finance almost anybody. Find the AMCO transmissions nearest you at amcojacksonville.com.
As the seasons change, one thing remains the same. Jacksonville and all of Northeast Florida are fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks. If you spot ESPN 690 anywhere in the community, come hang with us and grab an ice-cold Celsius.
There's so much I love about spring. Warmer weather, flowers blooming. It's hard to choose a favorite. Kind of like the amazing used selection you'll find at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. I'm talking 400 premium pre-owned on the lot. So to make your decision a little easier, you get 30 days to love your purchase or exchange it for one you do. And with 4.7 out of 5 stars and over 16,000 Google reviews, you know my friends at Arlington are going to help you pick the best ride for you. Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard and online at arlingtontoyota.com.
This is Sam, and he changed my life. If you're a veteran or know a veteran struggling with post-traumatic stress or traumatic brain injury, please go to AmericanHumane.org to learn about the Pups for Patriots service dog program.
A message from American Humane.
Firefighters, paramedics, police officers. They take care of us, and at AMCO, we're proud to take care of them. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. As an essential business, we work on every kind of car repair with flexible financing and extra safety precautions. Essential, reliable, trusted. That's the men and women who are there for us, and it's our honor to be there for them. AA MCO.
Money tight? We can finance almost anybody. Find the AMCO transmissions nearest you at amcojacksonville.com.
Jacksonville is a great place to live. And if you love where you live, you should invest in it. That's why more and more people bank with One-to-One Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. We invest every penny back into North Florida, backing the very best small businesses, nonprofits, and of course the family home. Why put your money with some big out-of-state bank when you can invest in where you love to live? One-to-One Financial, we're your hometown credit union. Sign up today at one-to-one-fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
Finding great people to hire is like trying to find a needle in a haystack. It's pretty difficult, right? Well, ZipRecruiter has mastered finding a needle in a haystack, so they take it to the next level. They make hiring so simple that it's like finding a needle in a needle stack. And that's why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. Here's what it's like to use ZipRecruiter. They have so many qualified candidates that it's easier to find the right ones for your roles. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's a lot of needles. So how do they do it? ZipRecruiter's powerful technology sends you candidates who are a great match for your job, and you can even invite your top choices to apply. So if you want less hay and more needles, head to ZipRecruiter.
And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/FREE. ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
It's the stretch run of the college season. Still a busy time to swoop at UNF. Baseball setting records, softball trying to make a late charge, men's and women's tennis having a nice spring, and beach volleyball's been a giant killer. Plus, the biggest meets of the year in track and field still ahead. Something for everyone at UNF. Find the schedules, results, the stories of the student athletes, and buy tickets at UNFospreys.com. And don't forget to check out the strategic plan of the future for UNF athletics. All at UNFospreys.com. Swoop at UNF.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel V Pro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
Yes, we do have availability. Those dates for how many guests?
Andrea's Boutique Hotel is the destination to tie the knot.
Oh, you want the whole property?
She needs an assistant to catch the bookings bouquets.
249 guests, huh? Oh, and 3 dogs.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. Did you know you can watch our radio show? Yeah, video of a radio show. Just search ESPN 690 Jacks on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Or follow me on Twitter at Brent A.S. Jacks. Watch the show live weekdays from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. or listen on ESPN 690.
Hey, welcome back, Brent Friends on ESPN 690 on a Tuesday. Overtime with Kurtz and Middleton coming up next.
Big show planned.
Jumbo Shrimp played earlier today. 11 o'clock in the morning game for the kids. I think it was like field trip day.
It was. It was
for
kids'
the
day.
kids.
Yeah.
And now the word is the robo-umps are starting, but I checked with Weber. He said he said it was regular umpires.
Today?
At least from an appearance standpoint.
I don't know.
So,
well,
how are they doing that?
I don't want to say Weber's wrong, but I watched the broadcast today on MILB TV.
Yeah.
And there was a specific pitch that was called a ball that should have been, or that they thought was a strike. And Scott Kornberg on the call said, well, it's not up to the umpire because they're using the electronic strike zone today.
I thought they went to the booth and asked the robot, and the robot said,
So I think they were using it, according to Scott.
So they were using it, but
on the broadcast.
does that mean the umps are staying in a similar position?
Yeah, them boys are down there. There's like one behind the plate and everything.
They're just hanging out.
The whole strike and the ball thing.
So he does it all. He just doesn't
make
the decision.
Yeah.
But it's like a buzzer, like
I guess so.
Going to him and he makes the actual movement.
Yeah.
What a waste.
They were talking about the catcher on this specific. This was like the third inning. Didn't even have to frame the pitch because there was no chance. Once it was a ball, it was a ball.
You need a little more pomp and circumstance with that. Yeah, to make it look a little flashier, a little cooler.
Yeah.
Well, I actually like the subtle nature of it that you don't really know there's that much of a difference. Like you don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
Like that, I feel better about that than it's just like the ump doesn't stand back there.
I kind of like it if he wasn't there.
Yeah, I kind of like. You know what's interesting about baseball? The strike call obviously is a fun one, depending on which umpire.
Yeah.
You know, everybody has a different kind of looking call.
Oh, I showed Kasey one the other day. We can't even talk about on the radio.
Oh, did
Really?
you see this guy?
It was,
I didn't see it.
I'll send you on the text. Let's just say it was a little bit X-rated.
It was dirty.
Well, you know, it's like whenever they started baseball, why did they determine not to make a signal at all for a ball?
Oh, that's an interesting question.
I agree.
You had all kinds of signals. You don't get the ball, so everyone just pretends like it never happened.
Well, because listen, I watched many games at various levels, and you kind of you're like, well, did he call a strike or was it a ball?
Right.
Like, some people, because some umps actually do it verbally, and not like this exotic strike call, like the one it sounds like you're referencing.
Hey,
I gotta show you, it's very
Brent,
funny.
it looks like you were at the shrimp game today.
Oh, did Brent take a picture with an ump?
We're looking at you on the screen with Robo-Ump, my guy.
Okay.
You must have been at the game.
I was not there. Is Delphonic helping us out?
Nah, this is a Schachterbaum.
Oh.
You ain't never seen this picture? Go look at the stream.
I'm sure he has.
Video of a radio show. You could find it.
Ah, there I am. Yeah, I have seen that
Look
picture.
at you.
Look at you with our guy.
What's on the bottom of that guy?
I've actually always wondered that. I've never actually said anything, but it does look like something.
It looks like something. That dude's scary looking behind the mask, too.
Well, he's a
And
robot.
the guy left him.
Yeah.
He's also a robot.
He's also a robot.
This guy's not wearing pants, Brent. You're buckled up with like a scarf and a jacket.
Well, at least the robot ump in the picture is wearing an umpire's shirt.
Where was I this day?
Somewhere cold.
Somewhere cold, apparently. All right, what do you got? You got another tweet or two for us?
Well, now I actually have to go get the tweet thing now that I'm not messing around with stupid robot umps anymore. Hold on.
You have to find that picture. Hey, did you see LeBron James, Kasey, 2020? How about that? A quick thought on LeBron. He's still good.
He's still very good.
He's actually still great. He dropped 40 on Dylan Brooks, just like Dylan Brooks wanted him to.
Yeah.
You know,
Just a different kind of 40.
Yeah, still great though. Lakers, don't sleep on them.
Well, 3-1. It's kind of hard to sleep on him now.
I'm talking for the whole thing. Don't sleep on them.
You think they're going that far?
I don't know. They're good.
Meanwhile,
Like,
I
they're
sat there
good.
telling you the Clippers are going to win their series, and now it's not looking good.
My guy, I picked the Clippers to win the title.
Yeah.
If Kawhi Leonard would just play basketball.
Okay. Like, what's the point to load management if you're just going to go out with an injury anyway?
That's the thing. You can't load manage all season and then miss the playoff games because you're actually hurt.
Agreed.
Kawhi, there's not a player in the league like Kawhi to where if he's not in, his team has no chance. If he's in, they win.
But he's also like
every time.
He's also nearly worth 2 superstars
He
on
is.
a roster.
If he plays, he's definitely worth 2 superstars. I still believe, even though they're about to lose the series, if he would play, I think they're, in my opinion, in the title game, in the title series, whatever.
Yes, I'm with you.
Like, he's that good.
Yeah, I like that
Just
roster.
never plays.
Never plays.
Yeah, he didn't play a lot. And but Anthony Davis did not play well yesterday, and the Lakers still won. I had to go Google. I'm like, Austin who?
Austin Reeves is balling, bro.
He's had a decent
23
series.
points.
He had a good first game too, didn't he?
Yeah, he's been great.
So I looked him up, right? So he's an undrafted guy.
Oh, big time.
He played, where did he play? Wichita State and then Oklahoma, I guess?
Yeah, Oklahoma.
And he's not many, I don't know how many undrafted guys factor in the NFL, the NBA.
Not many. Not even second-round guys
Yeah,
really
that's the
ever
thing.
factor in.
They pretty much turned the draft off after the first round. They're like, all right, we're going to send this to stream only.
What was that line? Brent said it to me a couple of weeks. He goes, I'll trade you 7 second-round picks for that guy.
That's right.
Yeah, that's the way it goes in the NBA. Yeah. So anyway, Lakers win, and now you got a couple of play-in teams. The Heat. I just brought this up the other day.
Heat are going to do it.
The Heat and the Lakers, and usually I was like, let's just move the NBA playoffs to the top 4 seeds only, because that's all who wins usually.
Well, I hate the play-in game period, especially in a sport like basketball. You don't need it. It's fine. You didn't need the play-in game there. I get it in the NCAA tournament. I'm not necessarily a fan of it there either, but I get it. I get it in college football if you want some people to play into your college football playoff, but in the NBA playoffs, it makes no sense to me.
But you wouldn't have had the Heat doing this.
Okay.
They call him Jimmy 5'6".
And
it's fine.
Jimmy Butler, by the way, was terrific in that game. I think that goes without saying when he dropped 56
points. The other team was actually trying.
They were.
And they get paid millions of dollars, and Jimmy put 56 on their head.
I have a homework assignment
That's
for you guys for
embarrassing.
maybe tomorrow if we get to it, okay? I'm not going to talk NHL and the hockey playoffs, although the games have been fantastic. Not right now. Icemen do play again tonight, Game 3 in Greenville. But
damn Lightning.
If the hockey is so good, which it is,
Incredible.
Right? Overtime, drama, electric crowds. Like, we as a public love that. Like, we want that. We thirst for that. I mean, people rally around that. And
all true.
Yet, nobody's talking about it.
It's crazy.
Like, why? Like, this is your homework assignment. What can we do? What can we help the NHL with to make everybody talk about it more?
Are you saying you want me to come up with the top 5 ways the NHL could be more interesting to non-fans?
Yes.
Sounds like that's what you want.
At least at this time of year.
Okay.
Like, again, these games have been awesome.
I already know.
I mean, the other day there were like, I think there were 4 games on Sunday. 3 of them went to overtime.
Yeah.
And the only thing better than playoff hockey is overtime playoff hockey.
You had 2 more last night.
And so I wonder what they can do. Like, you talk about baseball, right? Reimagining itself.
Yeah.
With some of these rules. They look like they've done a great job. hockey's tried a lot of different things, open up the scoring, everything else, like over the years. Football continuously does this. Obviously, it's a monster. It's king. I think basketball looks into these things, too. They don't need to do it as much. I'm just wondering, and I don't know if I have an answer. I'm just wondering what they can do to get this on our plate more, on our radar more, so we can feel like it's a thing. Because the one thing that happens in hockey, there's no FOMO to it.
That's fair.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, nobody – so what? Like, so what? The Seattle Kraken won at like 2 o'clock in the morning in overtime.
It was awesome.
Casey was very excited about it.
I was up.
No, I know, but nobody else cares.
The crack den, baby.
and like I saw it too, and I was like, but nobody cares about that.
Not a person.
I didn't get one like.
But why? Like we like this stuff. Like I'm telling you, the public likes this stuff. We don't have to love hockey. We love the drama, the excitement. We don't watch NCAA basketball all the time, but we then love March Madness.
Mm-hmm.
Why, even if we just tuned in this time of year for the NHL, how do we get more people to do it or to feel like it's a thing?
Not that we want to do this now, but do you
this a homework assignment?
Yeah, just a question. Do you think that it would help if the legacy teams were good? Like Toronto's finally about to win a series because the Lightning can't figure out how to play hockey. Do you think that helps the sport? That the team that everybody, like when you're thinking of hockey teams, they probably come to mind first, second, or third. Do you think that helps?
I would say my initial answer to that is no, Kasey, because I actually think what you're trying to do is get this younger population excited about it. They don't give a crap about Toronto being a legacy team, an original.
That's where Seattle comes in my
But
opinion.
Seattle does. Like Seattle can be the cool kid on the block, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I just think about it a little bit. I just was thinking about that today because like we got all these great games, yet nobody's paying attention to it. It's just when there's exciting stuff happening in any walk of life, anything. We try to focus on, like, we'll bring our attention to it.
Except
if
Aaron's
if
20th
everybody's talking about Ted Lasso, everybody starts watching Ted Lasso.
True.
Right?
There's a buzz. It's a happening.
Yeah, this is like a good thing to be happening, but for some reason the NHL can't make it a happening thing.
Now, I thought your explanation of there is no FOMO was literal and excellent.
Well, thank you. Now let's get to one tweet before we hit a break.
You don't think so, Case?
I don't think anything he's done today is literal and excellent.
I'm just saying if I had to describe the reason why it just doesn't matter to me now, it'd be because I'm not scared I'm missing it.
And here's the thing. You're probably the best one to answer this out of the three because I was up at 2 a.m. watching it. Brent, it sounds like, was at least up or saw the highlights. I'm confused on which one, but the point of the story is you saw it. You're the one that...
Bro, I watch these highlights every day. I can't even tell you what round they're in. I'm not even paying attention when it's in front of me.
So the real question would be to ask, like, you, like, what could they do?
And I'll come in with that list.
Right, good. Because, like, yeah.
And I promise it won't make anyone uncomfortable.
Okay, we'll do that tomorrow. Let's do this. Let's take a break. We'll come back. We put a bow on the show. Another tweet or two from Aaron. Overtime with Kurtz and Middleton on deck.
Big
Homework assignment already planted in place. ESPN690.com article that you can rip Kasey on because he's drafting Trevor Lawrence's one-game replacement in Week 18.
He's pumped about it.
A lot of fun stuff.
A lot of fun stuff. Hockey coverage as well.
And hockey assignment. You got an assignment. Make sure you deliver now.
Good luck.
We got to save hockey. Like, I'm not even a huge hockey guy. We got to save hockey.
Could you imagine if we pulled that off? It'd be like the guy on Reddit who saved the NFL draft.
Or fooled Vegas, one of the two. We'll be back on ESPN 690.
Brent and Friends is sponsored by Best Bet. Now open in St. Augustine.
Jason Fitz and Harry Douglas are Fitz and Harry.
Lamar at this point has made it very clear he feels disrespected through this whole process. He feels devalued through this whole process. He's made it abundantly clear he doesn't want to play for the Ravens. He's also made it clear he's pissed off about the way they've turned the conversation to him quitting on his team. You think money fixes that? No, money doesn't fix that level of feelings. Like, money didn't fix that level of feelings long-term for Aaron Rodgers. It ain't going to fix that level of feelings short-term or long-term.
I'm Clayton Bromberg, the president of Underwoods. One of the biggest changes we've seen in fine jewelry over the last 25 years has been the growth of jewelry designers. At Underwoods, we're the leader, bringing to North Florida the best names in designer jewelry. In fact, we carry designer lines in a similar way to how clothing stores carry designer labels. The difference is that jewelry designers have to be a little more timeless in their presentations because nobody wants to buy a fine piece of jewelry only to find out the next year it's gone out of style. That's why you'll find at Underwoods the best of the jewelry designer names. those that are tried and true and popular. Names like David Yerman, Roberto Coin, John Hardy, Marco Bichigo, Jude Francis, Lagos, Hippolyta, and a lot more are all available right now at Underwood's. So if you want the best looks in designer jewelry, stop by Underwood's in San Marco, Avondale, or the Shops of Ponte Vedra.
Mark your calendar for this year's Ancient City Game Fish Challenge tournaments. There are 2 tournaments, the Redfish Bash, May 26th through the 27th, and the Kingfish Challenge, July 13th through the 15th. Great fishing fun for the entire family. Be a part of both of these great challenge tournaments. The Redfish Bash, May 26th through the 27th, the Kingfish Challenge, July 13th through the 15th, where a junior angler can win a brand new boat valued at $10,000. Get more info at 904-669-0295 or visit their website, acgfa.com.
Are you a real estate investor or have considered investing and want to know where you can put your money that offers solid returns and protects against market volatility? It's Rich Jones. I want to introduce you to DLP Capital. CEO and founder Don Wenner.
For more than a decade, DLP Capital has delighted our investors with consistent double-digit returns. Through the smart, conservative real estate investment strategy our company is built on, we have been able to achieve this with monthly distributions and tax shelters so our investors can keep more of their returns.
Dial ** invest on your cell phone or visit highyieldreturns.net.
I'm Howard Mackler, founder of Innovation Refunds. You've heard me talking about the payroll tax refund for months. If you own a business, even if you've asked your CPA about this, you owe it to yourself to take another look. We provide a licensed and insured tax attorney who evaluates your company at my expense to determine eligibility. Businesses of all types can qualify, so go to getrefunds.com to potentially get a payroll tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee. Download the Innovation Refunds app or go to getrefunds.com. Getrefunds.com.
Life always has its challenges, but if you feel hopeless or suicidal, you don't have to face it alone. I'm Dr. Christine Caulfield, CEO of LSF Health Systems, and our free Link to Life program can help. We'll connect you with a care coordinator who will work with you to build better tomorrows. Please take suicide off the table. For more information, visit lsfhealthsystems.org or call 988 if you are in crisis.
We were ready to sell, but I got so overwhelmed with everything that needed to be done. Accepting the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate shortened my to-do list.
Hi, this is Mark Spain. With the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate, you can sell your home stress-free and receive the strongest cash offer in the industry. With our guaranteed offer, there are no showings, no open houses, and no stress.
And the value of getting all of my time back that I would have spent on home repairs, priceless.
Go to markspain.com to receive a guaranteed offer on your home today and start packing.
Certain restrictions apply.
Sorry, but we actually have a wait list for our Monstera.
Shaw's greenhouse is really bringing in the green.
We can't keep snake plants in stock.
She needs a construction manager to build on her roots and grow.
We could add a whole section for ferns, and here we'd have dahlias, dahlias, and more dahlias.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Attorney CPA Joe Cordell.
Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. They have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer's skills in these matters.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Jacksonville area attorneys. Offices in Jacksonville and by appointment only in Ponte Vedra Beach. Lisa Cargis, Florida resident partner. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois only. CordellCordell.com.
O'Reilly. Is your Moore's battery weak or dead after winter storage? Get your Moore ready for spring lawn maintenance at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Right now, purchase any Superstart lawn and garden battery and get a $10 gift card after rebate. Choose Superstart batteries for power, performance, and reliability exclusively at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Getting to know yourself can be a lifelong process, especially since you're always growing and changing. Therapy is all about deepening that self-awareness, because sometimes you don't know what you really want until you talk things through. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist online who can take you on that journey of self-discovery from wherever you are. Visit BetterHelp.com/score to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp.com/score. dissect.com/score.
Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe. You can watch us on CBS 47 and Fox 30. You can listen right here on ESPN 690. And you can subscribe to our YouTube and podcast, Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe.
Oh, yeah. Brent Friends radio show, ESPN 690. Aaron Schachter, Kasey Kurtz. Come on, bud. You're pumping me up right now. It's like a performance you're giving.
Kind of.
I like it.
Like, you remember the Migos?
Do I remember them? Sure.
I always had that one guy that did sound effects. Like, he didn't really actually rap anything. He just,
Don't bring
me.
up the Migos to me because it makes me upset at you. Very early on in our relationship, Kasey, I was here trying to help run this radio station.
Yeah,
and every time someone would bring up Chad Muma's name, what would you do?
I would say,
Mama.
Yep.
You would do the Migos Mama.
I would.
And so I sat there going, oh, you know what would make Case happy, guys? I made Kasey a supercut.
You did.
It's a rotator with like 8 or 9 different Migos Mamas. You know how long it took me to go through all of their singles and get their Mama? Mama. Chad who? Mama. Yeah. Where's it not rotating?
I don't know why.
We got a bunch of them.
We do. Oh, man.
And you don't even use it.
I don't.
Because you don't care. Mama. So forgetting Chad Mama for a second.
It's so good. I don't know why I didn't use it.
The best part about it, Case, is that should you fire it off when Brent is talking, he'll have no idea what's happening.
And he'll just go by it. He'll just be talking about something that doesn't matter. You'll hit him with a, and then he'll keep going.
But we'll be chuckling. And so will the audience.
Dang it.
They'll know.
It's so good.
All of our friends out there in Radio Land listening, they'll be in on the joke. Old man Mertno, he's not going to be on the joke.
He ain't going to be on the joke. Brent's never been in on a joke. He's trying to figure out how to get on the inside.
I'll tell you what would be a joke, Case, if you could allow me to segue real quick.
Segue, dog.
The Bills' offense would be a joke in a bad way, in a good way for the Bills, a bad way for the Jets, bad way for me as a Jets fan.
Yeah.
If they get DeAndre Hopkins. That's the next tweet we'll go to from BR Gridiron. This has actually been the buzz for weeks now, ever since Von Miller went on his Voncast. And he said, look, I talked to D-Hop. We're friends.
Of course.
Close personal friends.
Like you and RG3.
Like me and RG3. And D-Hop told Von, I want to play for the Bills. Did you also see that viral video that D-Hop was on?
I did.
He was like, oh, what teams do you want to play for? He mentioned the Jets.
Yeah.
Wasn't into it. More like Tariq Hill. The Jicks? No thanks. But he was into Buffalo, and he was into who else? He was into the Chiefs. Oh,
yeah.
Shocker.
Who wouldn't be?
Okay, yeah. Do you want to go to the Chiefs, DeAndre? Of course he wants to go to the Chiefs. But DeAndre Hopkins on the Bills playing across from Stephon Diggs with a whole Josh Allen under center with a fixed elbow.
Would be unfair.
Oh, my goodness. That would be a good offense.
It would be so unfair.
Do they still have Gabe Davis? I realize he didn't turn into what they wanted him to last year.
Still on the roster. Dawson Knox as well.
But like as a third and fourth option.
Oh, yeah. It's pretty dangerous.
Oh, this is what you need in the AFC, by the way. And as long as you keep growing the quarterback acumen in the AFC, you'll have to really start growing that cornerback acumen in the AFC.
Sauce Gardner going to be working.
It's not just Sauce, right? Jalen, Xavier.
True.
The dude's out in Denver. Forget his name.
Surtain.
Pat Surtain. A couple of these guys. And so I really think as you see an exodus of all these quarterbacks to the AFC, which actually might even be the next week. Can I cycle through here?
Do it.
Let's just go right here. Look at this list, Kasey. Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, Trevor Lawrence, Pat Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson, and if Lamar stays in Baltimore, at least 2 of those quarterbacks I just listed aren't even going to make the playoffs. So you go, okay, Russell Wilson was garbage last year. Deshaun Watson was on the Browns, so there you go. But I think Deshaun's going to be good this year.
He has to be better.
He's got a roster around him.
Yeah. I mean,
he's got a top 10, 15 wide receiver and a top 3 running back.
It's unfair.
Russell Wilson with Sean Payton's going to be better this year.
Ew.
All the corners are going to have to come to the AFC. I really think what you're going to see are all the running backs and the stout defense, run-stopping defenses will be in the NFC. And then we're just going to see this split for a while.
I think you're right. And Like we did this a couple, I guess, months ago now on this show. Me and Brian did it a little bit organically last night. You take a list like that for the AFC, you can't even go 3 deep in the NFC. Like,
you really
it
can't.
feels like different. Like
they're just different leagues. Yeah.
I mean, and what's crazy is
this happens in sports sometimes. It happened in basketball for a while. The East was this brutalizing defense. The West was the run and gun offense.
It's just crazy because 2 of the best teams might actually be in the NFC.
Yeah, in the whole league.
Yes.
That's the wild part to me. Because if you had the top 15 teams laid out, you'd have 2 or 3 NFC teams, but they'd both be at the top.
I mean, potentially 2 of the top 3.
Yeah.
Depending on who else you put it for.
I'm with you.
Yeah, that's how I feel about them.
Wild times, man.
A little bit.
Fun show today. Brent and Friends will be back tomorrow with more fun times, guys. We've got homework assignments and all kinds of stuff. Here's your homework assignment. Go read Kasey's article.
Thank you.
It's there at the front page of ESPN690.com. He's also tweeted about it. Give the man a little bit of flack, even if you agree with him. It's kind of fun.
It's the best.
I do it all the time.
They have a list.
A list of flack?
Not really.
A list of nonsense.
Of dumb things, yeah. That's okay. Join the list.
Brent and Friends will return tomorrow at ESPN 690. Overtime with Kurtz and Middleton up next. Have a good night, folks.
Get ready for a month of nonstop excitement at the one and only Card Room and Sports Bar in St. Augustine. Best bet, hit it big and win even bigger with InstaPay weekends every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And don't miss your chance to win big with our $100 Lucky Seat giveaways every 15 minutes on April 5th and 10th. Plus, we're bringing you $1,000 high hands between all Best Bet locations on April 10th, along with daily high hand promotions. Best Bet St. Augustine, conveniently located at exit 311 off I-95. For more information, visit bestbetjacks.com.
What defines a hero? Dedication, loyalty, courage. Every day at AMCO, we serve heroes. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. From complex transmissions to simple brake jobs with flexible financing and the extra safety precautions we need. The heroes we serve don't all wear uniforms. They're people like you. At AMCO, we're proud to serve all of you. AA MCO.
Money tight? We can finance almost anybody. Find the AMCO transmissions nearest you at amcojacksonville.com.
A lot of different roles at youth sporting events. I get to be dad at my kids' baseball and softball games. You might be an umpire, might be a grandma or grandpa, or you might be a coach. And either way, all that moving around, standing up, sitting on bleachers, whatever it might be, can be a painful experience. You feel it in the hips and knees and shoulders and back. So if you're busy at the ball field and feeling some pain, give QC Kinetics a call and get a free consultation. Learn how advanced regenerative medicine can get you real relief with no downtime, no surgery, and no drugs. There are 2 local clinics in Mandarin and Ponte Vedra, and now they've taken it to a new level. The new medical director, Dr. Peter Atch, he's a renowned triple board certified medical doctor with decades of experience, and the science behind this is simple. They take healing properties from your own body, concentrate them, and put them right in your affected joint to repair and restore that damaged tissue. 904-274-5522. Get a free consultation. 904-274-5522. 904-274-5522.
Just be confident. Community First makes smarter banking simple so you can relax, knowing you're managing your money the right way, yours. Visit communityfirstfl.org. Community First Credit Union. Just be yourself. Federally insured by NCUA.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in an accident and would like to know the value of your case, go to forthepeople.com to see cases just like yours. You see, all lawyers are not the same. Morgan & Morgan.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
What's up? It's Kasey. Check out the podcast Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690, wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm Christine Lisi. A day after the blockbuster trade to acquire quarterback Aaron Rodgers, Jets GM Joe Douglas met with the media. He defended the draft capital New York gave up in the deal, said they're comfortable with how the trade is shaped, and they achieved their ultimate goal by getting Rodgers from Green Bay. He is New York's final piece to contend for a Super Bowl, believes ESPN's Herm Edwards.
They bring a guy in the building that basically, when he walks into the stadium, before the game even starts, you figure, well, we got 14 points because we got Aaron Rodgers. He's going to throw at least 2 touchdown passes every game.
Herm Edwards on Fitz and Harry. Kings guard De'Aaron Fox says he plans to play in Game 5 of their first-round NBA playoff series against the Warriors tomorrow, despite a fractured index finger. Stanley Cup playoffs, Avalanche star defenseman Cale Makar suspended 1 game by the NHL for last night's hit on Kraken forward Jared McCann in Game 4. McCann is sidelined at least for Game 5 tomorrow night. Outfielder Brian Reynolds and the NL Central leading Pirates agreed on an 8-year, $106 million extension. It is the franchise's first ever $100 million deal.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive can help you protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, and RV, and more. And if something wasn't mentioned that you had in mind, find out if it can be covered at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE, because it probably can be.
Hurry and shop the final days of SpringFest at Lowe's. Right now, get an additional $300 off when you spend $1,996 or more on select major kitchen appliances. And keep your lawn looking fresh with savings on the Ego 15-inch string trimmer. It was $219, now it's $199. Shop SpringFest today, because Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid to 4/26. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com for details.
Mark your calendar for this year's Ancient City Game Fish Challenge tournaments. There are 2 tournaments, the Redfish Bash, May 26th through the 27th, and the Kingfish Challenge, July 13th through the 15th. Great fishing fun for the entire family. Be a part of both of these great challenge tournaments. The Redfish Bash, May 26th through the 27th, the Kingfish Challenge, July 13th through the 15th, where a junior angler can win a brand new boat valued at $10,000. Get more info at 904-669-0295 or visit their website, acgfa.com.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
How we doing on a Tuesday evening? On a less exciting Tuesday than yesterday, but still a Tuesday. Aaron Rodgers has been a Jet for 24 hours. Aaron's shaking his head no. If only that wasn't true, but it is, my friend. But it is. Overtime with Kurtz and Middleton, ESPN 690. We take you up until 7 o'clock. No Jumbo Shrimp baseball tonight. They played earlier today against the Lehigh Valley.
What is he shaking his head no to?
Who, Aaron?
Yeah, what are you shaking your head no to?
He's upset. Uh-oh. You got the mic on the board?
Is he on 3?
He's on 3.
All
He's
right.
hot.
Yeah, here you go.
What you got?
Just saying, Brian, I know you can't be listening to all the radio shows at once. I'm just annoyed at how much they got fleeced is all. That's it.
Oh, okay. All right, context. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, y'all got hustled.
We got hustled.
Yeah. I hope he plays at least 10 games.
You know, the best case scenario
is that he doesn't.
Is that the Jets are 11-0 next season.
And they sit him.
And they sit him until the playoffs, so they don't got to give up the number 1. That's it.
Oh, Goodell step in. Somebody will step in.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing, though.
Adam Silver's going to call all the way from the NBA, being like, nah.
You ain't pulling no Mark Cuban stuff.
Load management is a thing.
Load management is a thing. We talked about that during Brent Friends, believe it or not. Kawhi Leonard's hurt again. That has nothing to do with the actual show that we're going to put on here. But
ooh, I like this, by the way.
That Kawhi Leonard is hurt?
No. What you're doing on OBS. But I don't like the fact that Kawhi is hurt. Kasey, but before you get into that, I know you got to get into a bunch of things. It's a great show. Let me tell you something, right?
Very smart.
Sometimes I think people think that I'm dumb. And I don't know who
it's a heck of a tease
in the company thinks that I am a fool.
I think he's about to get after the company here.
No, but I got one of those emails. So you know how the emails, they send you well, you know what they do in order to ensure security and you're following the rules, right?
Oh, they got you on that one that looked real?
No, they didn't. Because you want to know what the email consisted of?
What?
We're doing so much business here, we're going to get you your own company credit card. So just click the link so that you can get your own company credit card. That's what it was. And I was like, we not doing that here. Not for overtime. We're not doing that here. Now, I'm all for security. I was here during the summer of 2021. Kurt, you were here too.
I was here.
It was a struggle. We were both in TV.
It was bad.
But it was a struggle.
We were printing out paper scripts.
You feel what I'm saying? All because people were clicking on stuff all willy-nilly.
Mm-hmm.
But come on, man. You got to be better than that. You got to be. I hit that little fish report thing and doop.
I started fish reporting emails from like everybody that I just don't want to deal with.
Does it say congratulations anyway?
No, it's like, we're going to review this.
Oh.
And then the next day it's like, nah, this wasn't phishing, bro. You need to reply to this email.
That's so wild.
I've done it multiple times where I'm like, I'm not dealing with this fish alert.
That's hilarious. With company credit card. Okay. All right.
Yeah, no, it wasn't.
There we go.
So
anyway, I'm sorry. There you go.
We will take you till 7 o'clock tonight. Again, no Jumbo Shrimp baseball. The Iron Pigs with the victory earlier today over the Jumbo Shrimp in the all-name game. Apparently, they will be back on tomorrow evening that we will take you up to. I wrote an article that we'll talk about in the next segment.
Yeah, you did.
We will have. I don't want to give too much away. We will have a guest live in studio, I believe, to make an announcement. And I'll leave it at that until next segment, because I don't want to oversell, underdeliver. That's a big thing here. It's one of the very first things I learned here. Don't oversell, underdeliver. And then in the 2 years since, I've done a lot of overselling and a lot of underdelivering.
You're an underdeliverer, for sure.
Why do you have to hammer the point home? But
well,
yeah, a little bit.
I'm just co-signing you, man. I got your back, man.
Thank you, Brian. So I don't want to underdeliver, so we'll just leave it at that. But I believe we will have a guest in the studio in the next segment of the show. We will see. But before we get to that and everything that will come with that, the draft is now just days away again. And yesterday it was 3 days away, or 4 days away. Now we're 3 days away. And I decided in my free time that I thought I should tell people who I would pick if I was in position to make the picks for the Jacksonville Jaguars. It made sense in my head to share the thoughts of the people. And frankly, everybody eats up mock drafts, so I knew I'd get clicks, to be real with you. I don't get paid for clicks. Clicks don't affect me. I have no idea how many people click on it, but I had a good feeling I'd get some. So I did this article that I was pretty happy with. And then, not 5 minutes later, your boy, Kemp, you know Kemp?
I saw it. Oh, it was
boy,
5 minutes later.
He was ripping me up.
I saw the first tweet. I saw him.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
So outside of that, I felt pretty good about it. And listen, I made some interesting decisions with this draft. You came in and said you read it, and you couldn't argue with some of the stuff I did. But I know you don't fully agree with the picks that I've made here. So here's what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And you just said you always have my back. You don't have to have it always here. But I want you to either co-sign or not co-sign the picks that I made. You think you can do that?
Cash or trash it, yeah.
It's a little cash or trash it.
Yeah,
all right,
for
so
your article.
At 24, by the way, you can read the article, ESPN690.com. I don't get paid for it, but it'd be cool if you read it. Take some pride in it. I have them picking Brian Branch at 24.
Yeah.
You co-sign.
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
All right, good.
If Deontay Banks is there for some reason, though.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
I'm
Loud and
asking.
clear. Oh, Deontay Banks.
Okay.
I'm with you.
Just asking.
I just don't think it's possible.
All right.
Cool. Yeah, I don't think Banks is there, and then at the end of the little blurb about Brian Branch, I believe there's a very real chance that Branch is gone by 24, but I think it would leave one of Lucas Van Ness, Nolan Smith, or Miles Murphy available at 24. Out of the three, I would take Van Ness, but any will do if Branch is gone. So,
what percentage do you give the Jags in potentially missing on this first round pick? Because that was a good point as well. Like you even if you don't get Branch, you got to start looking like there's got to be somebody that's going to be able to theoretically help out the Jags there with some of the names that you just named in case Branch is not there, right?
Yeah.
So, like, it's a pretty low percentage that the Jags are going to not get a guy who they think is really going to help out this team, like, next season.
Yeah, I think it's a low probability, but I don't think it's impossible that all of these guys would end up gone. What they need, and Trent Baalke said this at the luncheon, they need as many people to go in front of them as they can. So what they need is actually teams to pick quarterbacks, because that's 5 picks right there that aren't defensive players. You then need these wide receivers to go as well. You need not necessarily all of them, but you need Addison to go. You need Zay Flowers hopefully to go. Quentin Johnston, we'll see. But if you can get some form of that, Bijan Robinson's a sleeper here because now you're looking at 10 picks of the 24, the guys that you were never going to pick. Throw a tight end in there. I think Kincaid could go.
Right.
Now you're looking at between, I mean, what does that leave you with? About 13 picks? You've got the 3 edge rushers I mentioned. You've got all of the corners that we haven't even talked about, which is Banks, which is the 2 that you won't get at the top. You've got Jalen Carter. I mean,
yeah, Gonzalez Witherspoon, Joey Porter.
Joey Porter's another one. Like, if you start doing that math, it just can't. Someone's got to get to you.
Yeah.
Unless they trade back, unless people trade up, unless the quarterbacks aren't really what we think they are, Hendon Hooker doesn't actually go, the wide receivers fall, nobody picks Bijan Robinson. So there's a scenario where it turns poor pretty quick. But I don't believe necessarily the smoke that the wide receivers aren't as high as people thought. I think Smith and Jigba goes, obviously. That's a no-brainer. I think Jordan Addison will go. I think Quentin Johnston will go before, to be real with you. Zay Flowers is interesting here. I think it's a possibility. But I think the Jags will have a defensive player there that at least we all think that they should be picking. Whether it's one of the corners, one of the edge rushers, there will be that person there. The question is, how do they value that person if it's not Brian Branch, if it's not Van Ness? And that'll be the real test. And then I think the card you always have in your back pocket is Osiris Torrance, who I think most people believe will be there. So in a worst-case scenario, I guess that guy's there. But in my mock draft,
there you go.
We move on to pick 42, which is currently not a pick the Jags have, and they trade up and get Darnell Washington. You know how I feel about Darnell Washington.
I do. And let me give you this. It's a split answer, so that trade that you did, he gave up, you said, I think it was like 56, 127, and then something from the following year.
Yes. I gave up 56. That's good. For good memory. 56, 127, and a third-round pick for pick 42.
And I'm like, I don't know which simulator you were on that forced you to do that.
No, here's the thing. The simulators aren't fully accurate.
That's true.
I got them for much less than the simulators every time I tried it.
So you're trying to give more realism to what you think would happen with actual human beings. And
I think the Packers, who I'm trading this pick for, should have a large interest in this man. So to get you to move off of him, that's where the third-round pick comes in the next year. So I overpaid a little bit to make sure it got done.
I just thought that you could go up higher in the draft, in the second round,
maybe
with that package. And
it's possible.
I looked at that, but that's what the buzz was. And so here we go. I'm going to co-sign this because every which way, and I'll give you another name in a second, but every which way that I tried to poke a hole into it, I was like, well, you got a guy who is, as you describe him, a very large human, and he blocks and he catches and he runs fast with all the mass that he actually has on his body. So he's like two birds in one, and no matter what he's doing that we think that he's good at, Trevor's going to like it. It's going to help out the offense. And so, yeah, Darnell Washington, come on, won't you come on down? Won't you come on down? I'm with that. Now, when I was going in, because I tried your article in 2 different mock simulators, and both times, and I always chop up his name, the rusher from Kansas State, Uzoma.
Yep.
He was there. And I get it. You had a point behind your article with why you didn't necessarily go edge. And again, I'm not going to argue those points. I'm going to let you make that as we continue down this article. But I'm going to be real with you. Him sitting right there in both of those simulators right there, and I was just like, oh, boy, it's really going to be flipping a coin. Do I think that this guy will come in on the defensive side and be able to be a real piece and really help out the defense versus what Darnell Washington we think he can be to help out the offense and really take the Jags to hopefully another level in coming this season. So I'm gonna have you back again on Darnell Washington for sure. But seeing that name right there, especially at edge, and what he did earlier on in his career, but even though he had a solid last season as well, I was like, boy, that's going to be a little tough if that actual situation played out and I was in the Jags, boardroom trying to figure out what's going on. But I got you back. Darnell Washington, second pick.
I appreciate that. Listen, you're filling the hole that Chris Manhertz has left, which is an important one. He blocks like an offensive tackle. He plays tight end. The receiving game will come around. I believe Doug Peterson would fix that. Actually, fix that's not the right word. Develop that into an NFL level receiver because you don't have to work on the blocking at all. So I obviously love the dude. So any way I could get him on the team is what I did here. You said it. There's a lack of edge rushers in here. We'll get to that in a minute. But at 88, I have them picking Chandler Zavala, the guard from North Carolina State. Not a guy that you hear his name much. I know you're an offensive line guy. I'm not asking you to break that down because Chandler Zavala is a little-known guy. But what sticks out to me is 615 pass block snaps, 0 sacks. Not a one. Not a sack to be found. 1 quarterback hit in 615 snaps. North Carolina State's high-level football. He started football late. He played a lot at a lower level, transferred to NC State, did have some injury things, had a back surgery, and then was elite last year. So I think this is Luke Fortner 2.0. You picked Luke in the 3rd round last year. You find this guy in the 3rd round this year, if he's still available, obviously, in real life, and you throw him at your left guard for the next 8 years at a minimum, and you call it a day. There's so much value here, and I know there are edge rushers available at 88, guys that could rotationally play for the Jacksonville Jaguars next year. But I picked him because if I can start this guy for 8 years at the left guard position, the value there is 65 times a rotational edge player that's going to play sparingly this season because if Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker, Devin Lloyd, what are you going to do there? If those guys are performing, again, there's an if there, can't take hope to the bank, this guy that you're picking at 88 ain't getting on the field in that scenario. But this man, Chandler Zavala, I think is on the field every play for the next 8 years at a minimum. Your thoughts?
Yeah, Kurt, again, not a guy that I necessarily, woke up saying, you know who the Jags need? But I'm a line guy, offensive and defensive. And I'll say it one more time. If you want to make sure that your franchise is secure, okay, you get the actual franchise QB, and then you make sure that he's protected. And on the other end, you make sure that you try to do everything in your power to get guys who can make sure that the other team's franchise QB feels unprotected every down. And so, the interesting thing about offensive linemen especially, I think that, and you brought that point up in your article, as far as it doesn't have to be a first rounder. And I guess you can go through the annals of history with football just in general. All first rounders don't hit. All seventh rounders don't, they're not bust. But, with offensive linemen, I think that you can have the chance to really develop. It isn't a flashy position. So when you say, hey, we're picking up a guard, we're picking up a tackle, we're picking up a center, people are like, okay, yeah, that's fine. But what are the stats that you look for? Sacks allowed, pancakes, things of that nature? No. The kind of pressure that's on a guy like maybe Trayvon Walker or Trevor Lawrence, number one being the number one overall pick, but playing positions that are fantasy, laden with points, and people can point to that and be like, are you really performing? You can't necessarily do that with offensive linemen. But when you brought up that stat in that tweet in the article, I was like, that's hard to do at any level. That's hard to do at Division II, Division III, SEC, Pac-10. It's hard at any level. So it's impressive. And I'm interested to find out more about him. I didn't get a chance to dig into him, Kasey, but I also had your back on that, even though I looked at, again, both of the mock drafts, and there was a name that popped up both times, just overall ranking. And LaDainian Tomlinson's nephew, that the DB, Hodges Tomlinson out of
TCU.
Yeah, and he's the knock on him, he's super undersized. But I'm like, listen, if we got a rotation of wide receivers that what we got now with Kirk and Ridley and Jones, Ingram, maybe Washington, can't you have a rotation of DBs? Can you never have enough DBs? And
can never have enough
in the third round. Is it a good pick? Is it a value pick? You got to kind of measure that out. But again, I'm going with the offensive lineman, Kurt. So we're 3 for 3.
How about that? This is worth. Well, I don't know if things will get off the rails here, but this is the closest thing you're finding to somebody who's going to rush the passer. But it's going to come from the interior. This is pick 121. As a reminder, I traded 127, and I'm about to trade again. But this is Jaquelin Roy from LSU. He's a defensive tackle, 6'3", 205. Did not have a fantastic season last year, to be real with you. He's had a good career. Last year was not a banner year for him. And to be frank with you, the combine and his pro day were not great. Not a great showing, not going to lie to you. But this guy's a pass rusher from the interior. He ain't going to stop the run. I'm not going to ask. Devon Hamilton's going to stop the run. Best case scenario, we're going to bring in Roy on 3rd down, 3rd and 8. We'll hope for the best. Like, that's what we got. Like, that's what you're getting here. But we talk about edge. They had no interior push for majority of the season until the end. This is a guy who gets rave reviews from his pass rush from the interior. Not his run stopping, not his tackling as a whole. He's a bit slow. But he can rush the passer from the interior in the SEC. And I valued that more than the edge. So there was edge players available. There should be here. Isaiah McGuire's one from Missouri. Like him. I win here. Can be criticized. I get it. I think this is a guy you can develop who already has the pass rush skills. If you can bring a little more out of him, I think you're looking at the defensive tackle position in a best case scenario, and this might not sound fantastic, 4 to 5 sacks a year. But that would be a massive improvement from what they have there.
Yeah.
So that's why I did that.
Yeah. Okay. So you put a lot of emphasis on him being in the SEC because, again, in both of the mocks that I was in, I was looking at it, and he was not at that point in time, because what I did was do the exact picks that you did just to see who potentially could be around that same round and whatnot, that same pick. And I'm surprised that maybe you didn't see him, or maybe you know something that I don't know, but this kid out of Purdue, Kobe Turner, defensive lineman.
Oh, Kobe's Wake, I think. Isn't he Wake?
Oh, Wake. I'm sorry, Wake. I say Purdue. I get mixed up with the colors. But he's a bit undersized, 6'3".
Looked at him.
At 290. Imagine being undersized at 290 pounds, but okay.
And by the way, I think 305 is kind of undersized for defensive tackle for Roy. But anyway, go on.
And, I saw, what's the boy out of out of Ohio State? 6'8", 370.
Yeah.
Man, you know what I'm saying? There you go. But I guess, I saw, the highlights on him. And then there was another kid, I think it's Ojomo out of Texas. Both of them were ranked higher in both of those mocks than your guy out of LSU. And so I'm saying that, or I'm seeing that you're putting an emphasis that he did some things comparable to those other guys, or maybe even better in certain statistics, and he did it in the SEC versus in those other conferences, like the ACC, in the Big 12, right?
Yeah, I mean, it plays in. I also think that you're getting value here from a guy that had bad pro day and combine showing. So I think if he has a better one, a more realistic one for his skill set, he's not available at this pick. So I think you're also getting some value there if he can fall to you at this point. But, yeah, I mean, the body of work at the SEC level, I think there is value to that. And LSU's done a good job at producing that position and those players. So all of those things went into account. I went with that.
Okay.
Here's where people got a bit upset. I traded again for a quarterback. Quarterback.
Yeah, I heard you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read it a couple of times.
Yeah. Here's the thing, man. Couple of 6th-round picks and a 5th next year for Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Why are people mad at me?
Because you're loosey-goosey with the picks. You already traded that terrible deal with the Green Bay Packers.
We don't need these 6th-round picks. We don't need them. Don't need them. I know they love to collect them. It's been their favorite art for the last 3 years. They want everybody's 6th-round picks. They'll take them for nothing. We'll give you football players, and we'll take your 6th-round picks, and then we'll trade them so we can draft a quarterback when we already have Trevor Lawrence. I know it doesn't make sense, but hear me out. This guy's special. Probably won't be available at 140. He shouldn't be. I'll tell you right now, he shouldn't be. Threw for over 3,000, ran for over 600, or nearly 600, 39 total touchdowns. 39.
It's a lot.
It's a lot of touchdowns. But, yeah, I understand he'll never play for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I get it. It's fine. But I say this. C.J. Beathard's on the roster. Okay, great. Fantastic. Love it. Love it for C.J. Beathard. The quarterback that just got paid the most money that's ever been paid in the National Football League, this guy plays like him. This guy's very comparable to him. If you can get that guy and develop that guy, that's valuable. What if, knock on all the wood that exists, something happens and you need a backup quarterback? Ask the 49ers how that worked out. They identified Brock Purdy. It went pretty well. Ask the Dolphins how it didn't work out. Ask the Jets how it didn't work out. Those teams wish they had Dorian Thompson-Robinson last year.
I wouldn't say that the 49ers scouted Brock Purdy.
But they had him.
Yeah, they have him. But it was like, okay.
But listen, he was there. They identified him. They drafted him.
It's just like who
last?
Who else?
They drafted him last.
Who else is there?
Don't get me wrong. They picked him last, but they still picked him.
Your point's taken.
They didn't let everybody else get another shot on drafted free agent. They took him. He was great. This guy is special. I'm telling you. And I put in the article, you're going to understand what I mean when he plays in Week 18 when the Jags are sitting Trevor Lawrence, rested for the playoffs.
I'm glad you added that second part to the sentence.
Is balling.
I started reading that sentence when you said he's playing in Week 18, and I was like, is he talking about a potential injury? Please don't.
No.
And where's C.J. Beathard in this whole?
Bad clipboard.
Still. Okay.
Just holding it.
All right. Yeah, Kurtz, I'm going to be real with you. But it's not because I don't like the pick, and it's not because I don't like your argument. Again, thinking outside the box, Kurtz, that's why you're going to make it in this business and get that Pat McAfee contract. I'm more under the impression that it'll be nice for a couple of years. Do I want to use a 5th-round pick for, that first contract while he is potentially growing, maybe even filling in if something, quote unquote, happened to Trevor or they're resting. It's always good to have at least one quarterback. And we already got a backup, but it's always good to have somebody who you are likening to, I'm assuming Jalen Hurts. That's who you're talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, I would sign up for that every time. Every time. But I was looking and I'm just like, you know what? If and I'll make it quick. I see we got to get to this break soon. My man, I have it written down. Hold on. Where's he at? Wide receiver out of Fresno State, Moreno Cropper.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I know we have a lot of wideouts. I understand that. But the point is this. You're looking at some of these teams that have firepower, and you're looking at guys like Kansas City out there with Mahomes, and think about the past 5 years. Not even just last season. Just think about the past 5 years, some of the guys that they've trotted out there. Now, a lot of that is because Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes can find guys and make them better. He just can. But some of that is that, listen, Andy Reid and that coaching staff can pick teams out and pick players out, and they got speed and they got quickness. And once you think you got everything else covered, once you think you got Christian Kirk covered, once you think you got Calvin Ridley covered, Evan Ingram, and you got Zay Jones, and you got ETN, you got another 4-4 guy here who I was looking at his highlights, a lot of end arounds, a lot of underneath, get him into space, let him work. So I think I would go there. I think that would be more plausible. He would probably be there before your guy out of UCLA.
You're right, and I'll make these last two quick,
Okay.
but I agree with you because at 208 I picked a wide receiver who I feel good about. His name is Puka Nacua, I believe is how you say it.
There we go.
From BYU. He led the nation last year in yards per route run in front of Quentin Johnston, in front of Jalen Hyatt, and all the other guys that are going to get drafted in the first round. He led the nation, and it really wasn't close by almost the entire yard. He's big. 6'2". He's actually tied. If they were to pick him, he'd be tied for the biggest receiver on the team with Zay Jones. Back-to-back 600-plus, 5-plus touchdown seasons. And, depth, special teams, long, makes sense, right? And let's be honest, it's pick 208. I like him, but who knows? And then at 226, Chris Rodriguez out of Kentucky. Very, very good at Kentucky. 6.2 a carry. Since his entire time at Kentucky, which is 592 attempts since 2018, 36 total touchdowns in 40 games. If the running back wasn't devalued, this guy would go way before 226. He'll get NFL carries this year, wherever he goes. Chris Rodriguez. Write it down. Close it out. Hopefully it's Jacksonville, and that's the draft. No edge rushers. Not one. You know who we could ask about that?
Who?
Austin Lane. I think he would have a thought on that.
Yeah,
the edge rusher department.
Well, how can we do that, though?
Well, not as easy as we used to be able to do, but I've heard he's downstairs. So I'm going to run down there.
Hey.
I'm going to go talk to Austin, and then he will be on the show next. We'll talk about that, but we've also got some other more important things to talk about. We do that next. Overtime with Kurtz and Middleton, ESPN 690. We're right back.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
A few scattered showers into this evening. Partly cloudy skies overnight will drop to near 60 degrees. Partly sunny for you Wednesday. Again, a few widely scattered showers will develop, but plenty of dry hours, and highs reach the low 80s in the afternoon. From the CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jack's First Alert Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds.
Don't miss Beards Diamonds' incredible buy one, get one wedding band sale going on now.
I can't wait for what's next, even with higher stroke risk due to atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Eliquis, the Pixaban tablets, reduces stroke risk. It's the #1 cardiologist-prescribed blood thinner.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without talking to your doctor, as this may increase your risk of stroke. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or have antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or unusual bruising, or if you have tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. It may increase your bleeding risk if you take medicines such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Sorry, but we actually have a wait list for our Monstera.
Shaw's greenhouse is really bringing in the green.
We can't keep snake plants in stock.
She needs a construction manager to build on her roots and grow.
We could add a whole section for ferns, and here we'd have dahlias, dahlias, and more dahlias.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
From local town councils to Capitol Hill, agents who are realtors are standing up for what's right. We're here protecting property rights. Here advocating for the issues that affect our neighborhoods. Here championing fair and equitable housing for all. Because we are realtors, bound by a code of ethics, driven to serve our communities. We're here for it all. Here for you. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
American Window Products offers free low-E coating on select windows at an affordable price that can help reduce your energy usage with 12 months zero-interest financing. Visit AmericanWindowProducts.com for a free estimate. Financing available at time of sale for new orders only.
Firefighters, paramedics, police officers, they take care of us, and at AMCO, we're proud to take care of them. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. As an essential business, we work on every kind of car repair with flexible financing and extra safety precautions. Essential, reliable, trusted. That's the men and women who are there for us, and it's our honor to be there for them. AA MCO.
Money tight? We can finance almost anybody. Find the AMCO transmissions nearest you at amcojacksonville.com.
Attention Dish customers. Dish Network dropped WFOX Fox 30, depriving you of your favorite programs, local news, weather, and sports. Call Dish now at 1-800-333-3474 and tell them to put WFOX Fox 30 back on the air. Don't let Dish keep you from the important news, sports, and entertainment programming you love. Call Dish now at 1-800-333-3474 and then switch to another TV provider.
Run to the Jacksonville Sharks this week, Sunday, April 30th, 4 p.m. at the VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena as they take on the Orlando Predators. Call 904-621-0700 or jacksharks.com for tickets. Fins up.
With more ways than ever to connect to news and entertainment, 90% of new car buyers want the tried and true AM/FM radio option. Gadgets are great, but when you're behind the wheel, you just want that local connection that can't be replicated. Local AM/FM radio is dependable and free, with no subscription or cellular data required. And as the backbone of the emergency alert system, we're here to keep you safe in dangerous times. Visit wearebroadcasters.com and tell us how you depend on AM.
Digital marketing, well, my intern handles the social media, my brother-in-law does my search, and my receptionist sends out email blasts. All done.
Your digital marketing may get done, but is it doing anything? No? Then let CMG Local Solutions help. At CMG Local Solutions, we combine the best-in-class technology and analytics to maximize your digital dollars while targeting local customers for your business. So your digital marketing doesn't just get done, it gets results. Learn more about how we can help you at cmglocalsolutions.com.
Hey folks, Dave Binion here with Zero Res. I'm here today with my son Ammon.
Ammon is the air duct cleaning manager for Zero Res. So, Ammon, many people ask, who should I hire to clean my air ducts?
Well, there's a few things to look for. First, does the company have an HVAC contractor's license? In the state of Florida, you must have this to legally clean air ducts. Second, is the technician properly trained? Zero Res technicians are trained and certified by the National Air Duct Cleaning Association. Third, what kind of system are they using? Zero Res uses the most powerful truck-mounted system in the industry that generates over 15,000 cubic feet per minute of air movement. Most companies use a portable unit at around 5,000 CFMs. That's a third the power of Zero Res. Cleaning air ducts is all about power.
So, what kind of deals are you running?
This month, I'll give you $50 off your air duct cleaning, and if you mention WOKV, I'll disinfect your air ducts for free. That's normally $100.
Wow, so I can get up to $150 off?
That's right.
Remember, folks, Zero Res,
spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
How is the influx of 80 people a day moving to Northeast Florida affecting your business? The Jax Chamber and Cox Media Group have interviewed over 1,000 residents to help you understand customers' buying motivations. What home-related projects are they planning? What are their automotive needs? What do they want from financial advisors? Join us for an exclusive data reveal May 4th at 8:30 a.m. to learn these answers and more. Tickets are just $15. Visit jaxchamber.com for more information and to register. That's jaxchamber.com.
Finding great people to hire can be like trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Their powerful matching technology delivers so many qualified candidates, it's like finding a needle in a needle stack. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. For less hay and more needles, head to ZipRecruiter.
And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hey everybody, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. There's a good chance you have a smart speaker, so use it with the ESPN 690. Stay up to date on the Jags and all things sports by telling Alexa or Google to play ESPN 690. It's as easy as that. Make sure you listen weekdays 3 until 6 p.m. on ESPN 690.
Overtime with Kurtz in Middleton, ESPN 690 on a Tuesday. I believe the title of on our little box was an A-Train Tuesday, and I didn't address it for 30 minutes of the show, but I will address it now because Austin Lane is back in the studio.
What up, man? It's been a while.
How about
It's been a while, everybody. Guys looking good?
Yeah, I was like, why aren't you clapping, Brian? Gotta be clapping here.
Brian seems to be upset.
Oh, okay.
I just didn't have the mic on.
Okay.
Here we go. Hold on, man. Hey, say it one more time. Let's do it proper.
We have Austin Lane in the studio.
Give me a hell yeah.
There we go.
Very good. Thank you, Stone Cold. So, how you been?
I've been well, man. I've been really well. I think last time I was here was a while back. I forgot what we were talking about, but
I believe you had a
I had an arm injury.
An arm injury, little wrap.
I was supposed to fight in Australia and then end up having an arm injury because I wanted to break the news I was going to fight. You know, my first UFC experience, and that got put to the wayside with an arm injury, a torn bicep. But thankfully, I'm proud to report we're back to 100%. The doctor said 5 to 6 months. And I said, how does 2.5 months sound? And that's where we're at right now. So everything's healed up well, man. I mean, I got a really great team, you know, in terms of rehab. Obviously been putting the extra work and making sure we're good to go. And I'm good to go, man. So I've been sparring. I've been doing everything again. And it feels great.
I'd love to hear it. We will talk more about that in just a second.
Sure.
But we were talking Jags, obviously, the way that this season ended, and we're going into the draft. And when you walked in, you said, are we just going to spend an hour talking about Darnell Washington? I said, I would like to. So I need to find people that are in my corner. It's kind of been hard to find people, especially that high up in the draft.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it feels like I'm against the world at times.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. The first round is kind of pushing the envelope, I think, a little bit. But if we're talking like early second to mid-second, absolutely. Absolutely.
So my trade-up scenario works for you.
Yeah, the article that you posted, which I actually read. And the whole quarterback thing is whatever, you know, the guy from UCLA.
Yeah.
But no, I absolutely agree with trading up for a minute. And here, I mean, there's a couple reasons why. I think when you talk about how an NFL draft shakes out, the quarterback always needs to go to the proper environment, right? Like we always talk about, like Trevor Lawrence came to the Jaguars the first year, it was kind of sketchy, but then Doug Peterson came on board, and it was a match made in heaven. We see with Zach Wilson didn't work in New York. I think the second position where it matters where you go and what team you go to is the tight end position. I think there's been great tight ends that have been drafted to teams and they never shake out. I think there's been average tight ends that have been drafted to teams and they become, high caliber type of players. I think when you look at what Doug Peterson's done with the Eagles, obviously, now with Evan Ingram, and keep in mind too, drafted Travis Kelce. Like he was a part of that experience as well. So when you look at what Doug Peterson does with tight ends and how he covets tight ends, well then why wouldn't you go after probably the biggest freak in the past, decade at the tight end position?
Just makes too much sense.
Yeah.
It just makes too much sense. And I'll take you to an argument that I had with Brent Mardo,
Yeah, sure, yeah. I've heard of the guy before.
I heard of him before.
Yeah.
I believe this guy should be, at worst, the second tight end off the board. He believes in Michael Mayer, who is from Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do I feel about that?
Do you have a
I do have an opinion. So I think Mayer, at right now, it's almost kind of like the Aiden Hutchinson effect, right? I remember last year, Kasey, or 2 years ago, when we were talking about who we wanted as a defensive end for the Jaguars. I think we were on the same page. We wanted Kayvon Thibodeau, right?
Correct.
And why did we want him? Because he was the boomer bust guy. Aiden Hutchinson was a guy who was getting thrown around a lot. Hutchinson, to me, he was like the sure thing, right? Like, you know what you're getting. Same thing I feel like with the cat from Notre Dame that you just mentioned. I feel like you know what you're getting with him. He could be dependable for sure. A high volume pass catcher, all that stuff. But could he take the next echelon step that we're talking about with a guy like from Georgia? And it reminds me too, remember when DK Metcalf came out and people were kind of on the fence about him because why? Well, he didn't have the hips. He ran a slower shuttle than Tom Brady. Oh, and he wasn't the best wide receiver even from his school at that time.
Right.
Well, when I look at the Georgia team, yeah, the second best tight end on the team, but still a monster. And by the way, rock number 0. If you're rocking number 0, if the coach lets you rock number 0, you're a special player.
I'm saying.
All I'm saying.
And by the way, Calvin Ridley will wear number 0 for the Jags. So
there you go.
That's fine.
Hey, special player.
Special player. And I was Darnell Washington. We were at Florida, Georgia, and it looked different. They don't make people like that. Honestly.
They don't.
That's why I'm all over it. But back to, or sticking with the Jags for a second, in the first round, a lot of debate between DB, between edge. I had them going Brian Branch. I think he's the pick if he's available.
So what I want from this draft this year, Kasey, is I want to watch this draft and say, that's a solid pick. I don't want to be surprised and say, ooh, okay, we'll see how this. No, because you have a team right now that is playoff caliber. Hopefully you have a team that's going to be Super Bowl caliber. So when you add to a Super Bowl caliber type of team, you got to add solid players. I think Branch would be a solid player for sure.
I agree. I also don't think it's very sexy.
It's not sexy at all. But like I said, it's a solid player. Like you know what you're getting with him.
You do.
Yeah.
But listen, I'm fine with it. You don't have to tell me because I believe in it. But there are a fair amount of people that say they need help on the edge. They do.
And I agree with that as well. See, if I was drafting, that's what I'd look for first. Now, it's got to make sense, right? And it's so wild because, like, you see all these mock drafts and, everyone's got to make a buck out there and people are like, well, he's going to fall this. I mean, if Van Ness was to fall, yeah, I think you take a good quality look at him. If the cat from Georgia, Nolan Smith, if he falls, I think you take a look at him as well. Now, I get it. He doesn't fit the prototypical Trent Baalke, long arms, long hands, guy. But when you run a 4.3 or whatever he ran, like, you can't teach speed, man. And you can't teach get off. You can teach pass rush moves. You can teach all these things, but you can't teach the intangibles. And I think Smith has that. And I think if Van Ness was to fall, I think you pull the trigger on him as well.
Yeah, I mean, I like Van Ness. I think it has to make sense, right? And that's the most important part. So that's the Jags talk.
Yeah.
Are you busy on June 24th?
So here's what's been going on, Kasey. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but a couple years ago, I played for the Jacksonville Giants at VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena. Okay? And they called me Mr. Thanksgiving.
They did.
Okay? I mean, we're talking 4 points. We're talking a steal. 2 blocks and 2 assists.
Stuffing the stat column.
Stuffing the stat column. And VyStar's been in touch with me. They're like, hey, you got to come back for an encore. I'm like, basketball, man, it is what it is. I don't really play it that much anymore. Those were better days behind me. And they said, well, we got a UFC event coming to town. So I said, okay, well, let me see what I can do. So UFC reached out to me, said, do you want to try to up your performance in the Jacksonville Giants, Mr. Thanksgiving? And do you want to fight on a Jacksonville card for your UFC debut? And I said, absolutely yes. And that's why I'm here today. I'm here to announce that I will be fighting June 24th. Not sure what time. Check your local listings, everybody. But I'll be making my UFC debut at VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena. That's what they call it.
Give me a hell yeah!
Awesome.
Yeah, man. I'm super excited.
My dog.
Yeah.
This is I don't even know, and you're so calm and composed about the whole thing, but I don't know how when you walk out in Jacksonville, how you're gonna be able to stay in the moment. I mean,
so it's kind of a give and take type of situation, right? I'm looking forward to the fact that I can sleep in my own bed, right? Because as fighters, we're all creatures of habit. I think where fighters go wrong, it's not necessarily like, oh, you got a bad training camp or you're not in shape. Where fighters get in their own heads a little bit, sometimes you see bad performances. It's like, well, you're in a new city, right? You have to change your routine. Maybe you're doing all these interviews. Maybe you're in a bed that doesn't, it's an uncomfortable bed. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's too hot in that city. Whatever the case may be, there's a lot of things that you can't control sometimes that go into the fight game that can affect your mental capacity, right? And we always say, like, fighting's 90% mental, man. So, like, from that standpoint, well, yeah, dude, I'm sleeping in my own bed. I'm going to literally walk to the arena. I can't wait for that. And then as far as the crowd's concerned, man, I'm excited for that as well. I'm the type of guy when I walk out in an arena, because I've fought in a lot of places, I don't notice it too much. I'm sure I'll hear a couple Duvals here or there, but at the end of the day, man, I'm so laser focused of what I do that I won't be noticing it too much until after the fight. When I get my hand raised, then it's going to be, pounding beers in the crowd and doing all that great stuff.
I mean, and it couldn't have lined up any better, right? And you don't obviously want to get hurt.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was at least the conversations we had, you were going to be at least strongly considered being in Australia.
Correct.
To make your UFC debut. And now, I mean, this is just incredible.
It's so wild how it worked out. Like I said, I mean, when I first tore my bicep, I was told 5 to 6 months. And, that was a goal I was trying to get, at least 3 or 4 months. Obviously been busting my what to make that happen, and I did. And then when I told the UFC, like, hey, we're open for maybe late June, early July. That's what the doctor's saying. That's what my PT people are saying. And then a couple days later, I found out, oh, by the way, UFC's coming to Jacksonville June 24th. It all just, people say everything happens for a reason. I don't always buy into that thing. I think sometimes you can make your own luck. You can make your own destiny. But, man, you want to talk about happening for a reason, the stars align for me on this one.
They absolutely did. And if you're just jumping in, Austin Lane on June 24th will make his UFC debut here in Jacksonville. And I haven't been here the whole time, but I've been here for the last couple of years. And from where you started in the UFC, I know you had some down moments, obviously, from the get-go.
Yeah.
And it felt like, at least for me and the conversations I had with you, that winning on the Contender Series was the full circle moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does the circle get a bit longer now because this could be the full circle here in Jacksonville?
That's a great point, man. The circle does get a little bigger now. Yeah, because, I mean, dude, I remember that day that I got cut back in, 2013, and I was sitting in my car wondering what I'm going to do now. I mean, when you get cut for the first time, it's so devastating, and a million things go through your head. Like, am I going to live here still? Am I going to move to a different city? And I was blessed enough to play in different teams in different cities and then find my way back here again. But to start a new chapter, let's just say, in my sports career, well, more importantly, just my life in general, to start a new chapter and to be able to do that, to start that chapter with the people here in Jacksonville that, I mean, there's a reason I was to live here, man, right? I mean, I could live anywhere I wanted. And I knew once that I was done playing for the Jaguars, I'd somehow find my way back. So in order to just to fight in front of these fans, to all the support that I've received, over the years, it means everything to me.
It's going to be incredible. And I know there's information you have that you can't put out there yet, but
yeah, I can't talk about the odds. I'll get in trouble for that as well. So, okay. Just to put it out there.
We won't ask about it. But how now, knowing that June 24th is the date and we are at April 25th, how do the next 2 months look for you?
The next 2 months look great. I mean, I've been in fight camp now, honestly, for the past 3 weeks or so. Body feels great. Arm feels great. It's just it's building off of what I've worked on so far, and it's obviously listening to my body. You know, I mean, the last thing you want to do is have a catastrophic thing with my arm, even though we're at 100%. Things can still happen. So it's listening to my body. It's kind of tailoring some things a little differently than what we've done in the past fight camp, so those things don't happen again. And I think you're going to see the best version of myself come June 24th.
It's just incredible. I can't, and I'm not even like fighting. Or like, you know, I'll be in the stands. But
yeah, for sure. Dude, I mean, I better see like cage side, you know, covering the whole thing.
We're working on it.
Okay, cool.
We're working.
Cool.
You know,
okay.
it was like before, didn't know it was public information.
Sure,
I gotta wait.
Yeah,
now I'm like, hey, we gotta be there. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I can't imagine the fan reaction that you're gonna get, just not even being you, and then you're gonna feel, man. It is incredible. We are so thankful that you came on here to announce it.
Oh, no, thanks for having me, man. I mean, I wasn't going to do any other place. You know, I mean, you guys have always been close with me, man. I got nothing but respect for you guys and your show. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Any time, hopefully again before the fight.
Without a doubt, man. I can come back for sure.
But either way, June 24th in Jacksonville, a UFC debut.
Yeah.
I mean, it could not be better until you get your hand raised.
Austin, listen, man, I'm not a trainer. And you shouldn't take any advice, but I hear that you probably shouldn't get hit in your liver, because I was watching a boxing match the weekend, and it looked like it could shut everything down. Not that you get hit in your liver.
No, for sure.
I don't know, add that to your repertoire of defense.
Oh, no, I appreciate that, man. I mean, I'm trying to, you know, work on my core a little more, but that's a great point. It doesn't matter how tough you are. If you get hit in that liver one time, it shuts everything down. I don't care how many abs you have. I don't care how many core sit-ups you did the day before.
Yeah.
If you get hit in the liver, man, sometimes it just shuts everything down. I've been hit there in practice. I don't get hit there in the fight. But yeah, it sucks, to say the least.
We got to go in 45 seconds, but
sure.
Will Ronan be at the fight? I know usually he's in bed.
Yeah. It'll be his decision. If he wants to go, he can go. If he wants to stay and watch Demon Slayer on, you know, I don't know if the new Demon Slayer's dropping that night, he can stay and watch Demon Slayer. It'll be his choice.
Mess with the mind games or no? If he's there.
Nah, I ain't gonna notice him. Well, I mean, with all due respect to him, I ain't gonna notice. Hey, for someone who had to take him to soccer practice and have to sit through kids doing the, you know, not Eric Ronaldo, but whatever, Cristiano Ronaldo celebration the whole time, it's the least he can do is to support me now, man, because these kids out here are flopping at 8 years old. This is driving me crazy.
I love it. And speaking of soccer practice, I'm pretty sure you have to go pick up your son.
Gotta go scoop him up right now, actually.
Soccer practice. Austin Lane, we appreciate it so much. Best of luck. June 24th in Jacksonville. Austin Lane will make his UFC debut. For Brian Middleton, I'm Kasey Kurtz. That'll do it. Overtime with Kurtz and Middleton. We'll holler at you tomorrow. I want to eat a spicy chicken in my Tesla. Is it too much to ask?
Calling all